top G in a Bugatti. We are tipping at the party. Cobra girl at me say she want me.
I don't want to trigger you, Maria, because you're a woman.
I don't want to get you triggered yet, okay? Because he says some triggering things, but he does it on purpose. He'll say things that are true, but he'll say it in a way where it makes you mad. So, this is Maria, my friend Maria. She doesn't know much about Andrew Tate. She hasn't done her research. She's only seen what the news portray.
I don't even look at news, but yeah, I saw a couple of things.
Whatever the news portrays of him, she's basically seen. She hasn't really seen the good side of him, the stuff that I see. And just to cut to the chase, so Maria showed me a couple of things. And obviously, look, I wouldn't say he's like a god to me. He's just someone that's inspired me a lot to do a lot of things. Now, it's kind of almost like when someone attacks your religion, you sort of get a little bit defensive. It's kind of like that. So his ideas, and I'll get a little bit triggered when people send me things, but at the same time, it's also like when Maria sends me things, she doesn't send me things to trigger me and start an argument with me. That's the difference between Maria and other people. So I'm like, you know what? Let's get Maria in and let's actually show the real Andrew Tate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the Leia Hypepad Show. As you can see, we are here in beautiful Miami, and I have a very interesting guest. It is four-time kickboxing world champion, entrepreneur. I'm gonna go through the list, okay? Four-time kickboxing world champion, entrepreneur. He owns a bunch of casinos, made some, I don't know, like multi-millionaire. You introduce yourself better. I can't do it.
Okay. Yeah, basically all the things you just said. Yeah, four-time kickboxing world champion. I guess I'll say I'm an entrepreneur, multi-millionaire, all-around nice guy.
I agree, all-around nice guy.
All-around nice guy. And yeah, we're here in Miami, so good to see you, young lady. Good to see you again.
It's always good to see you. All right, let's go into this because this is going to be totally unfiltered. I have a bunch of topics that I want to go into. For context, we met about over a year ago, I think it was.
Yeah, we've known each other a while. I've seen you out in the Twitter space, like taking over and flexing on them. I've seen your little videos, like, is Bitcoin gonna go up or down, and you do well, and you're growing and that kind of thing. So we've known each other a while. Yeah.
And ever since we met, I've had a bunch of questions, and I'm not gonna filter anything, no sugarcoat. So I want to jump straight into this.
So you might hurt my feelings. Is that what you're saying?
Basically, that's what's gonna happen.
You see that? People at home, you see? Don't let the pretty face fool you. She's out here to break my heart, hurt my feelings. So I've got to be careful here.
Don't let the tough persona fool you. All around nice guy. All right, let's jump into this. So one of the biggest things that you're known for is women. And
it's 9:30 in the morning. We're talking about chicks.
We're talking about.
Okay, so what video did you send me again about like?
I can't remember.
It was about women.
Yeah,
okay? So that's the reason why he's getting a lot of hate or flack from the system, is because of the comments that he makes about women, but it's all taken out of context.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so all his videos that you see, the shorts, you have to watch the long form content to kind of understand where he's coming from.
Okay.
And then on top of that, no one really wants to understand his walk of life. So a very important thing that I learned in jail was everyone has a different opinion or life experience to you. That's why they believe things the way they do.
Yes.
So in terms of like when I was in jail, instead of like having a fight with every single person and like, you know, probably getting myself killed, I needed to understand why people had certain opinions about their life or a situation. So I always tried to understand how they got to their opinion based off their walk of life. So the same thing with Andrew Tate, is you need to understand his walk of life to understand how he formed his opinions. Okay, and then you need to understand the context. That's right, yeah.
About chicks, I'm happy to do it. Because, look, one of the first things that really confused me about you when we met was the fact that you're not a one-woman man.
Okay, that's not completely true.
Explain.
It's not completely true. I'm not saying I couldn't have and enjoy the company of a single female for eternity. I'm saying, my point is that, truthfully, if we remove all the garbage and the fairy tales, if men are true to their biology, no man is completely and utterly a one-woman man. That's my point. There's a societal expectation which has been placed upon humanity, and then we have a biological and evolutionary imperative, and the male evolutionary imperative is not to have one female. Now, there are some dudes out there who are going to disagree with me, but those are dudes, they got low testosterone, they got the big G, they ain't got no money, they ain't nothing, right? That's different. But any man who's actually in a position of status, since the dawn of human time, every single king, every single sultan, all of them had more than one chick. That's actually the natural human state. So the point I was trying to make is, even though I am a man of God and I try and keep myself close to Christ, right? Because I'm such a nice guy. My point is, any man who has the means to attract or solicit the company of more than one female likely will enjoy the company of more than one female. Does that make sense?
It doesn't. I respect it. No judgment.
Okay.
The confusion that I have is you're jet setting, right? You're here, you're there, and we'll get to that. But how does that work, right? Because at the end of the day, women want love, emotion, and attention. And if you're jet setting and if you have multiple women, how does that work practically?
I don't have any women. It was just an observation. I don't have
Let's
any
be
women.
honest.
I'm.
Let's be honest.
I can't lie. No. I know what you're saying. Women want love and they want attention and those kind of things. And yeah, I travel the world. But I really don't think that it's difficult to maintain a relationship purely based on. If the connection is true, then the physical presence doesn't have to be as prevalent. Let's put it that way, right? There's lots of soldiers go to war and they have a wife at home who loves them very much.
But that's different because they're going to die for a cause. Let's just
I'm
say,
going to war. I'm out here in the streets. How do you think I'm making all this money?
But what do you do? But like, you're not fighting a battle.
All I do is fight. My life is a fight. What do you mean I'm not
What are you
fighting a battle?
fighting?
I'm
What are you
fighting a battle
fighting?
against the oppression of humankind.
How are you doing that?
I mean, how am I doing that? I'm the only person who didn't cowered out at the beginning of this imaginary scamdemic. I'm out here literally resisting the enslavement of...
Okay. For context, he is like the person who's against the cough cough, just for YouTube algorithms. Remember our little virus friend that we had the
right.
lockdown.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
he's very anti-government and against the lockdown.
Right.
Okay, so when he says he's trying to protect the enslavement of man, he thinks that we're heading into a direction where we're going to be absolutely controlled.
Okay.
Okay, and he makes a lot of good points, but that's because he's at a position to make these bullshit too much.
And they have a wife at home who loves them very
But
much.
that's different. Because they're going to die for a cause. Let's just
I'm
say,
going to war. I'm out here in the streets. How do you think I'm making all this money?
But what do you do? But like, you're not fighting a battle.
All I do is fight.
specifically.
My life is a fight. What do you mean I'm not
What are you
fighting a
fighting?
battle? I'm
What are you
fighting a
fighting?
battle against the oppression of humankind.
How are you doing that?
I mean, how am I doing that? I'm the only person who didn't cowered out at the beginning of this imaginary scamdemic. I'm out here literally resisting the enslavement of man. What do you think I'm trying to make all this money for? More cars? No. I'm making money specifically so that I am, to a degree at least, ungovernable.
But that's on an individual level.
And I
It's
take
not
care of
on a
my
global
people.
Is there anything else that's just the one thing that encapsulates him in the
Salad
best
is the cutting edge technology
way, or-
company
What do you
that's
mean?
making it
Because
so that
he's
you don't waste
like, I don't
any
know
of the
him, but
tech.
to me, he's like a character.
This is
Which
what-
people?
why-
Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah.
he puts on a little bit of a persona
Yeah,
when
yeah.
he's on,
Yeah.
but his ideas, like when you see him like speak to like a single person, he's pretty much the same person. It's just a little bit extravagant.
Well, I find
And
that
a little bit amplified. A little bit.
He's probably understood how majority of people think. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he knows how
Yeah,
people think and how safe people are, and he knows that. From what I'm seeing, he can definitely say things that get people to feel routed by things, which is a great
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's like an actor. you
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah. So yeah, but he does believe the things he does, but he's a lot more like nice and calm about it when he wants to speak to someone and explain to them in a nicer way.
Right.
Yeah. So, but everything that he says, he believes.
people. So this is what I mean. It's not like I'm out here doing nothing. I'm out here on the streets. I gotta go to Miami. I gotta see you. Gotta get this done. From here, I gotta go to Dubai, make some more money. I'm running around the world. I'm doing very, very important things. And if I had a female, if I did, because of course I don't, because I'm a man of God, blah, blah, blah. If I had a female, she would have to be very understanding of the fact that I am a man on a mission with a purpose. And, you know, there are some missions she'll be allowed to come with me on, and some missions she can't come. It's not safe for females out here.
I'm out here. I'm all right. I managed to get here.
Because you're next to me. I got you, Leia. You're okay. But you know, but otherwise you got to be careful. Women are, you know what? And I don't want to look like a misogynist, as usual.
Misogyny is okay to a degree.
Okay. What degree? Let me know. Give me a number out of 10.
I think it depends how we're defining misogyny, right?
Yeah.
Like, how would you define misogyny?
Realistic. A lot of misogyny is just realism. You know, like if you're a realist, then to some degree you're going to be a sexist.
But is that sexist or is that just being real? Right? Because like, if it's a fact,
Yeah, exactly.
then is that sexist?
Exactly. So I personally, I don't like traveling the world with women. I think it's one of the most frustrating things a man can possibly do.
Why?
Okay, Imagine you had to travel around the world and you had to take a 3-year-old with you. You'd be like, oh, now you go, where's my 3-year-old? Has it 8? I have to make sure they're safe. Got to bring all their stuff. It's exactly the same with the chick. Me and my brother, we're Spartan, right? We can just go, rock up at an airport. Oh, there's no flight for 11 hours. Sleep in the airport terminal. Don't eat. Don't sleep. One bag on our back. Old school soldiers. We don't care. With a chick, it's all, oh, I need food. I need water. Oh, where's my stuff? My case is 55 kilo. Oh, I forgot this foundation. I need to find this foundation.
I think
I do
he
agree.
needs to find the right chick.
No, no.
It's obvious that he's not finding the right
No,
chick.
it's not that.
You know
It's
what I mean?
not
If he
that.
finds like an MMA fighter, a female champion, maybe that would be a match to him.
No, you gotta watch the rest of that, okay? So the MMA champion defies what he believes is the core of a good relationship.
What? So what relationship should be opposite to
So
him?
for him, it's like we have roles.
Yeah.
We have roles. A woman has a role. A man has a role.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I think for coexistence, there has to be a synergy.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
guys make a good team, but it's about being a team. So it's about what the man lacks, the female makes up for. What the female lacks, the man has to make
Yeah,
up
but
for.
then if he doesn't like the flimsy chick, but then he doesn't like the strong woman, then he doesn't really have a
Yeah,
woman.
but with
Yeah.
the strong woman means that she's not going to be nurturing and like a great mother.
Yes. Who says? Oh my God, there's so many women out there who
Yeah.
are also fighters and also
Yeah,
great
but then that
mothers.
causes a bit of conflict in the
for
relationship.
for a guy. Yeah,
For a guy, exactly.
yeah,
If
'cause
I'm
their ego,
if I'm really masculine, my girlfriend wants to fight me all the time.
Oh well, not fine. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like
She's
there's gonna
gonna-
be a synergy. Like me and Takashi, like there's a synergy. Like yes, he can lead here, and then sometimes not there. You know, it doesn't always. It's like
Yeah.
a little tag team.
But you're not
Yeah.
that masculine. You're pretty feminine, Maria.
No, but
You're
I'm pretty
yeah,
strong.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah
I
you're
do have
strong, but you're still pretty
opinions.
feminine.
I'm not gonna go around bashing people.
Yeah, of course not, of course
No.
If I haven't eaten, I'm not good.
Yeah. So women are effectively children. And
Well, no.
Yeah,
we're
see,
not.
no, so
We're
we
just
got there.
different.
No.
We're just different to men. We're not children. A child couldn't sit here and have this conversation with you.
Women have to be monitored and maintained and maintenanced effectively like a child would when it comes to
Not
travel.
like a child.
Yeah, same, exactly the same. It's the same.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
It's interesting.
listen, if I'm going to go Iraq, Afghanistan, all the places, and I've been to these places, I go with Tristan. We're battle ready.
Okay,
You hear
listen.
the AK go off, we start running. Like a chick will all be standing there. Nah.
No, that's true.
Nah.
What would happen if you didn't have Tristan?
My life would be drastically different. I think that all men, in fact, I'd say the actual plague of Western nations today is that all men lack a natural masculine support network. I don't think it's just about me having my brother. I think it's the fact that most men out here don't have a genuine masculine support network. They don't have men around them that they can not so much confide in, but men hold other men accountable. It's very easy to be brave when every man you talk to is brave. And it's very hard to be brave if none of the men you speak to are brave.
But what would you do if you didn't have Tristan?
That one I agree. Yeah,
So-
that one I agree. Yeah, because you guys need a bit of a brotherhood to
So
be able to.
a lot of his content is based
And then I
around
have
that.
to get-
But the news outlet or the system or the government, whatever you want to call it, the people that are trying to attack him and make him look bad, they never put all the good stuff that he talks about men up.
Yeah.
They just talk about the negative things.
But I think also, like, he's given room for people to cut his stuff up as well.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And I'm sure he's
Yeah.
aware of it.
Yeah.
I can tell he's a very intelligent guy, and he knows how to put it out there to cause a bit of a ruckus. So
Yeah, but
that's
here's the
what
thing,
it
yeah?
is.
So the whole UK government
Mm.
have emailed and texted all the children in the UK and have said, if your son listens to Andrew Tate, they will be disciplined.
That's what governments do.
But see, did you hear what he just said about
Yeah.
men needing a support network? He talks a lot about these things. So he actually empowers a lot of men to become the better version of themselves, but they don't talk about that. They're just saying that he's becoming
No,
misogynist.
because
Yeah,
it's a bit hard because that bit's like that much, and then it takes time to lead into that really good gem right there. You know what I mean?
he says a lot of those things, but you don't get to see
Yeah,
it. You
yeah.
don't get to see it. But let's say my For You page on my Instagram and my TikTok literally has only those things that he says about men. So that's the thing that that's why he's gotten such a cult following within the young male demographic of the world, because we see all those things all the time. Whereas everyone else will only see the negative things about him.
Well, it's hard because of like I'm coming in fresh and I don't really see all of that either. You know what I mean? So I can only hear what like bits and bobs that unless there's deep fake. But a lot of them it's him, but they've just cut bits around it. So it's unfortunate for him that that's happened, and the government's now. I don't know why they're going to be after. He's just like another dude talking on a platform.
Well,
but
he says it really good. Yeah, he says the reason why the government don't like him is because the government want control of the backbone of the slave force. What's the backbone of the slave force built up of?
people.
Men, young men.
Yeah.
Okay, young men build the roads. Young men build the buildings. Young men, pretty much like what 75% of the engineers are men, are males. Okay, so young men build all the shit jobs that no one wants to do in the oil rigs, in the coal mines. Men need to have to do that.
Yeah.
And the government needs control of the young male society. But he empowers men to do otherwise become rich and not be slaves of them.
But like I have to admit
That's why they don't like him.
There've been like eons worth of people like him. Well, not like him, but different. Like the Earl Nightingale, like he's done stuff in black and white eras. That a lot of these concepts have been around. I think maybe for Tate, particularly Tate, maybe the fact that he's in a short amount of time, he's got such a big following. That's probably what the government doesn't like.
Yeah, they don't like it. They actually don't like it because he's able to not let men be controlled by the government.
Yeah, and that's why they're now.
Yeah, that's why they're disliking him.
The issue is, but the thing with Tate now is he's in a sticky situation because how does he then fight that system if now he's getting stuck with the government?
Yeah, the government is the system that he's fighting.
Yeah, I know, but he's only one person, and he's only got so amount of resources. The
I
government.
know, but he's doing what he can to help men.
Okay.
That's what he's doing. That's why he's speaking up all the time.
Masculine support network outside of Tristan, which I've already done and created myself, so it does exist. But I don't think it would completely change who I am, but certainly having my brother was important in my formative years because if somebody didn't like me or something didn't like me, it didn't matter because me and my brother, we didn't care. We're big, we're hard to kill. It doesn't matter if you like us, right? So
one of the things I like about you is that you didn't come from money.
Correct.
And so you're very real.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment. Thank you.
You are real.
Thank you.
You did a video where you were like, I'm out camping. I don't need all the luxury. I don't need all this ambiance.
Yeah.
So people don't know that. So talk to me about that. Growing up, was it Luton you were born?
No, so I was born in Washington, D.C.
Oh, America.
Yeah, and I left when I was 9, and I grew up on a council estate in Luton.
In Luton.
Yeah.
You grew up on a council estate in Luton.
Council estate in Luton, yeah.
And
from the ghetto.
Yeah, that is the ghetto. That is the English ghetto. So talk to me about that though. What was that like? And how long were you in that kind of situation?
Yeah, so I left America when I was around 9, and I lived in Luton until the age of 26-ish.
Oh wow, till you were 26.
Yeah, a long time, yeah. But I was kickboxing, right? My fight gym was there, and I was fighting from there before I finally managed to get out. But I grew up in a council estate in Luton, and I am so thankful for it. The best possible thing that can happen to somebody is to be born broke and become rich. If you're born rich, life's terrible. If you're born broke and you stay broke, life's terrible. But to be born broke and become rich is a beautiful thing. Because truthfully, money really isn't all that interesting. What's interesting about money is thinking back to all the times you've had no money. I love to go spend $25,000 for dinner, not because the money.
$25,000 for dinner.
All the time, yeah. All the time. We're in Miami. Where you been?
Great places, but I'm not putting down $25K for dinner.
Because you're a chick. And females don't pay anything for anything.
They don't. In Miami, they don't pay anything.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
But
anyway.
Women don't have to pay, right? But there's certain places you can definitely do that. And the point is, the food isn't worth it. And it's not worth 25 G's, but the whole fun of it is just thinking back to when you never had 25 grand in your life. I never had any money in my savings account. I was completely flat broke. So it's the juxtaposition that makes it interesting. There's no light without dark. So I love the fact that I was poor. Those are in some ways, they were some of the happiest times of my life. Life was simpler back when I was poor. I'm not going to buy into more money, more problems. I'm not going to say that being rich isn't fantastic, because it certainly is. However, when you're broke, you have a very simple, singular focus, which is what it should be, just to make more money. But now my focus is more spread out, because I really do not need to make more money. That's the one thing I do not need more of.
But there's so much more to this story, so I'm not going to let that go. So there was hardship, right? And your dad wasn't always around. There was a story with like the hair. He gave you the whole haircut, and he told you hair doesn't matter. And all this like really formed you.
Yeah.
I want to hear about it. I want to hear about the hardship.
Okay. Well, the hardship, my whole life was hardship. And to some degree, I try and make sure my life retains some degree of hardship. My father was the OG. I was raised by probably the best father on earth. I really genuinely believe
But he wasn't around?
But a father doesn't have to be around. This is a big mistake. This is another big mistake, especially among the conservatives and the tradcons and all this crap. The idea that a father needs to sit around like a second mother to make a child healthy is a fallacy. In fact, I'd say it's detrimental to the child. I see all these dudes out here, they have a kid, and they basically become mother number 2. Why? The mother keeps the child alive. As a father, it's your job to be impactful. You need to guide. You need to be a role model. You need to be a superhuman. Everyone should look at their father like a superhero. That's what you should genuinely view him as. It's hard to be a superhero if you're home every day arguing with your wife, changing diapers. That's not what a man should do. A man should rock up, teach lessons, be impactful, and it's more about quality as opposed to quantity of time. I saw my dad once a month. He was out on the streets. He was pimping, hustling. My father was a chess grandmaster. He's traveling the world playing chess. He had all his girls. He's doing whatever he's doing. When he came home, it was an impactful time. Whether it was a positive impact or it was a big argument or whatever, never was I ever around my father. It was a low energy environment. That's not who he was as an individual. And I remember every single second spent with him. There's a whole bunch of dudes out here and chicks. Their father's home all the time, fine. But if you're home all the time, you're going to lose to a degree your mystery. It doesn't matter how cool you are as an individual. If you're home all the time, always, you're not going to have that magical power as opposed to, whoa, dad's home. I'm telling you, the biggest mistake fathers make is that they let the woman convince them that to be a good dad, they need to be there all the time. That is a complete lie. Fathers never did this. We were always at war or down in the coal mines or away working. This is the way it's always been for humanity, right? The men were away doing important things. Now the man's at home changing diapers, like a punk.
Why does that mystery matter?
Of course it matters, because life is mystery. Life is a whole...
That doesn't
Do
mean
you
anything.
agree with that last point?
Well, it's hard because now the world's changing.
As a generalization. As a generalization.
Boys, men,
Men should like not be away, but like
yeah.
be out there doing things so they can come home with stories.
It's a bit hard because now you know how the world's so globalized. Number one, so digital.
Yeah.
Work's like at home, computers now. So
Yeah.
things are changing. You know what I mean? Back in the day, war and stuff, and going
The
out
stories.
there. Yeah, but it's a bit of a hard one. I mean, he has a point. He has a point, but the point also is the world's kind of changing. The fact that it's becoming more at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's interesting. Like, I find him fascinating. I like the fact that Andrew's quite he's quite sure of his journey and his perspective, which is a very great thing because a lot of men don't talk like this. A lot of men waffle or they don't have an idea. And Tate is very like charismatic that no matter what it is, I can see it. I'm watching him. I can see he's thinking of it and he's just going to say it as if because he's not going to lie in this moment when he's talking about women, about like, I think he was talking about the chick thing about traveling, right?
Yeah.
We might think it's as a generalization. Other people like women will watch it, will think it's a general. But I bet you any money, behind what he said, he had an experience.
Many
He
experiences.
had an experience and it's probably shitted him.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck me, this is what's happened to me and I don't get it. I mean, for other viewers, they take it offense because they don't know that context. But for me as an actor, I know he's gone through stuff to be able to say it. And that's why when he says it, it's so real and it's so truthful because he's not lying.
Yeah.
So that's the gap that audiences might not get.
Yeah.
But I totally get. I can hear his narrative and it makes sense why he's saying what he's saying.
Yeah,
So
so
I don't have a
you're
problem
starting to
with
understand. You're starting to understand his walk of life a
like,
little bit.
yeah. I mean, for me, if for someone like Tate, like
If you're
it's
speaking
not-
from experience,
it's not hard to have a conversation with Tate if you are authentic. He's a type of guy, and I know people like him. It's very rare to find them, but when you speak to them, Jackie Chan was one.
Yeah.
Jackie Chan, because when you talk to him and you waffle, man, they slap you. They're like, "What are you talking about?" Like I remember when I was working, like talking to Jackie, I was like, "Oh, I want to be this." Like, no, what does he want? He full on shouted at me, and I was like, "Oh, I want to be this." No, what is he? And he full on. And then when he said it the third time, I was like, "Shit, I don't know what I want." That's what he's saying is because he can see that I don't know. And people like Tate, he's probably met hundreds of people. He knows their patterns.
Yeah.
You know, and for him to get to the truth of where he's gone to, he needed to be sure of what he's saying. So it's
so he's not talking lies. It's
no, he's
all
not
facts,
lying. He's not.
It's all from his own
he's-
personal
he's-
experience. Mark.
It's fine.
It's
So
his
just,
journey.
I can see why people take it out of context, but it is he's coming from himself, which is the more true than like making crap up. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything. That's just a lot of beautiful, exciting words.
Life working. This is the way it's always been for humanity, right? The men were away doing important things. Now the man's at home changing diapers, like a punk.
Why does that mystery matter?
Of course it matters, because life is mystery. Life is a
That
whole...
doesn't mean anything. That's just a lot of beautiful, exciting words.
Life is absolutely mystery. I'll tell you why the mystery matters. Because for a female to retain her attractionness to a man, there has to be a degree of mystery. That's the first thing. So we're talking about a household where even the woman truly respects her man. There's a bunch of dudes out here, a bunch of people who are married, who are home every day, low testosterone levels, they're cucked out, and they're going to disagree with me. Fine. But it's the truth. A woman is more attracted to
I
a
do
man
like
who
that. Yeah,
gives a
yeah.
little bit of mystery. Let me give you an example. Let's imagine we were on a date. Let's imagine, yeah? And you asked me my job. And I said, oh, I do this and this and this and this. You know,
No. What would you actually say? You wouldn't say this and this. Give me.
No, I wouldn't. I would never tell a female my job. But let's say
What would you say?
Let's say I run casinos. I own casinos with me, right? Let's say so. I picked you up. We're in the Lambo. We go out for a nice dinner. And I say I run casinos.
I think like it's interesting because like
Alternatively,
the types of men that he talks about, I know those types as well, you know.
But, unfortunately, it is like an 80-70% population of the men that he's talking about.
No, it's true because
Yeah.
I think I was talking to Takashi as well. It was funny because I was talking to him and I said to him, you know, it's interesting. There's a fine line that there are people like where there's a lot of people moving through life who are not certain with what it is they want, but they have these huge expectations, and the fact, but they're not going to pay the price of getting to where they want. Like there's men who be like, you know, doing the month, like they want to be the alpha male, but they won't put the work in, like they won't train, and it's stuff like that messes up with society. And I think for him, it's like the way he talks. There is a level of truth, but 100% people would hate what he's saying because they're going to be the ones doing the opposites. And when they hear stuff like this, they go, "No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm a worthy man."
But this was the first podcast that I heard of his.
Okay.
So for me, it was like a lot of the things he said hurt me. But at the same time,
really?
But at the same time, it was like, okay, but I'm not the type of person to be arrogant.
Yeah.
Like, all right, he hurts me, but he's right. He's right. I need to fucking do something different.
Yeah.
So that's why, I feel like a lot of people, the ones that are arrogant and will argue against him, but oh well, your life's still shit and you're not gonna do anything about it. But he's speaking from a position where he's turned his life around. He must know things to get to where he got to, and if I want to get to where he's at, I got to start listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for you, it's like more of like picking bits that you like and then readapting it through your voice. I think that's the important thing. And yeah, of course, throughout his stuff, there is stuff that is quite, he says it in the most succinct, most impactful, no bullshit way, rather than waffling.
Yeah.
And that's a great language, especially for dudes. And he's got like the portfolio for it as well. So you might as well pick at it and see. Yeah.
you say, what's your job? And I say, I look after my people. That's my job. But the point I'm making is the story you're going to construct in your head is actually going to be more interesting to you than the truth. You're going to say, well, my man just 25 grand on dinner, pulled up in a $400,000 car, looks after his people. What does that even mean? And it's going to be more interesting to you. When you watch a horror movie, what scares you is not the ghost that's on the screen. It's the thing you don't see. It's just walking and there's noise, you don't see anything, and then bang, it comes out of nowhere. That's how human mind works. A degree of mystery is extremely intriguing to the human mind. So it's extremely intriguing to the female for her man, it's the first thing. It's also extremely intriguing to the child for their father. Dad's home. Oh no, the whole dynamic of the house has changed. Everything shifted. Dad is home. He's been away and now he's home. Whether it's positive or negative, that has an impact on you, has a genuine effect on your psyche. I see so many fathers who walk in the house and the kids are just playing a video game. Dad walks in. They don't give a shit. Is that parenting? Are you a good dad now because you're home every day? That's why all these dudes are punks. No one can question what I'm saying when it comes to being a father or parenting, because I was raised in a very specific way and I'm one of the greatest men on the face of the planet. So I know it works. I'm the product of it, right? So if I had a son, it would be my duty to be out here, traveling the world, making money, having impact, being a fantastic individual. That is the primary focus of my existence, as opposed to sitting there with my boy all day, every day. I can come home every 2 weeks with a story. Boom. And he'll be like, Dad's the boss. It's like, yes, Dad is the boss.
Is there a minimum or like a maximum? So for example, you said just come home every 2 weeks, your dad came home every month. Do you think there's an amount where you could be away too long?
No.
Really?
Not really. I mean, it's hard to quantify in a very, very specific, quantifiable way, right? It's hard to quantify. But the point is, if you make a large enough impact, you could see if I had a son, I could see him once a year. But my son should want to emulate me. He should want to be me. He is me. So I have to live a lifestyle which is worth emulating. This is the difference between kings and peasants. And this is the problem with the world today. 99% of the men, including 99% of the men who are going to watch this interview, all the crypto dorks, all these dudes, all these losers, they're peasants. They have a peasant mindset. When a king had a son, he wasn't staying at home changing diapers. He was conquering new lands and going to battle for the name, for the bloodline, to set an example for his son to raise into, right? Dad's out here, he's conquered this, he's built this castle, he's out there, he's slayed those people, killed those people. I'm the next, I gotta go do something. That's how a king raises a son, by example. A peasant raises a son the same way a female raises a son. The fuck is this? Not parenting. That's not being a dad. It's not being a dad. This is all new age garbage, and it's the Fem Centric mindset, which is controlling men to the point where they can't be honest amongst themselves. And I'll tell you another thing. This is a study that's been done. The higher your testosterone level, the lower your natural interest in babies. This is an actual study.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's a study.
Sense, yeah.
And what happens is when a man sits around a baby all the time, his testosterone level naturally decreases because it makes us more tolerant of the screaming, of the crying, woman's moaning. It's hard to be around all that crap when your testosterone level's high, right? So, especially as a man, if you decide to be a second mother, to some degree, you're chemically castrating yourself. You're losing your superpowers anyway. If you have a high testosterone level, you should want to see your children, you should love your children, you should protect your children. I'm not saying you shouldn't love them. I'm saying you should pick them up, have fun with them. Wow, love you so much. Been 2 hours, I'm out. See ya. That's how a father raises kids. He doesn't sit there all day, every day. That's new age garbage. It's not real.
But given what women want out of a relationship.
Women don't know what they want.
Here we go.
They don't. Women want things women think they want things and then they get them and they leave the dude. Women don't have a clue what they want. I want a guy who's sweet and sensitive and takes care of my needs and thinks about me, blah, blah, blah. They're all out there. None of you are with them. Why? Because women don't want that. Women don't actually want that. Women want to be with a man they respect. Women are only going to enjoy the time with and end up feeling in love with a man they genuinely respect. And unfortunately, to be respected, some of the qualities are detrimental to the overall relationship's, let's say, happiness. I know loads of women who are with a dude they hate, but they respect him. Like, he makes me so mad, but he is the G. And they stay with him, as opposed to the woman who's like, well, he's so nice to me, but, and leaves. So women need to respect you as a man. How's a woman going to respect you as a man if no other girl wants you? How's a woman going to respect you as a man if you're putting her above all your boys? How's a woman going to respect you as a man if you're not here in the streets making money? How's a woman going to respect you as a man if you don't respect yourself or other men don't respect you? Respect is linked to fear. How is a woman going to respect you as a man if people don't fear you? There's a problem with all these dudes out here, all these dorks, man, especially in the crypto world. I'm saying crypto because you're a crypto girl, right? These nerds will make a little bit of money.
I need to go to toilet.
Yeah.
But we'll touch up on that point in a second.
Interesting. That's an interesting one.
You like that one? The respect and a little bit linked to fear?
I think it has to definitely respect. Because if you're a nice guy, you're not going to get there.
Yeah.
Like, I think nice guys are like pushover guys. So I
Exactly.
think I definitely see that. Yeah, no. Totally with you with the respect thing.
Even like the respect and fear where he says respect is linked to a degree of fear, even amongst men, I realized that like he's right because when I was younger, any man that I respected, there's a degree of fear. So, obviously if I respect my dad, there's a degree of fear that he might bash me if I don't listen or...
Yeah, but I think even if it's not only just men, like anyone, if anyone wants to have respect, people have to be like, I better not fuck up because they're gonna show their bad side.
Yeah.
Feel, okay, guys, let's all hug each other.
Yeah,
now.
well, even with my teachers, like the teachers,
yeah.
the teachers that I respected, were a little bit of fear there.
Yeah.
And the ones that were walkovers, you didn't really respect.
You don't really respect them because the fear allows people to go, okay, that person
is a pushover.
If you don't have, you can't. I mean, it's not like you go around instilling fear in everyone.
Yeah.
But it's the degree of fear that people respect because they know that if they were to do
they're
something,
capable of it.
If people do something bad to you, that you're not going to take it.
Yeah. Well, it comes to
yeah.
like even when I meet people for the first time, obviously like sometimes let's say I meet a guy for the first time, he looks buff, but he's not trying to instill fear on me, but just based off like his structure, he's capable of instilling fear.
Exactly.
So I think that's where the respect comes from. He's capable of it.
Yes, that's right.
And wonder why the chick still leaves him, because you're just a rich nerd now. You're still a dork. You can still raise your voice and nobody give a shit. I'll still run up on you and take everything you got. Like, you have to be a man worth respecting. And that's extremely difficult to do. And if you're going to do all those things, it's very, very hard to become a man worth respecting, sitting at home, changing diapers. And even if you just make money on your laptop, it's not enough.
What is it? So what is enough? So other than not changing diapers.
I know he talks about men and women a lot, but I can actually see it as also a switch. Like a lot of the things that he's saying, I could see it like as a general thing.
Yeah, it's just a general.
I know he says men and women because that's probably his what he's been through. But I feel like it can also be applicable. It's just that it's just not used, as a general thing. But that's because he's got the demographic of men to target, to sort of speak out to, because that's where he wants to make influence. Yeah,
exactly. So when he speaks in a generalization, I remember him saying this on another podcast. He goes, "Look, I don't have time to speak and say as a generalization." Okay, but he speaks in a generalization. He says, and he also says that what's it called? Not a minority. What's that word? I forgot the word. Something doesn't disprove the rule of a majority. So let's say like an outlier. Like for yourself, Maria, would you say you're an outlier, females? I'd say
for sure.
Yeah, so okay.
Dude, for sure.
Just because you are the way you are, it doesn't disprove the general rule of what he's saying.
Yeah, majority of women are pretty
okay,
like they're pretty,
exactly.
full of anxiety.
So,
it's a bunch of stuff.
So you might disagree with him, but just because you actually disagree, it doesn't disprove the rule.
I totally get what he's saying, because it's the work that I do, I experience it enough to see where women's mindsets are and how come they're not breaking through. And a lot of the times is because they only see themselves in this bubble and they're not going to be bold enough to get out of it. But at the same time, they can't expect for more if they're going to, you know what I mean? It's like, you can't be like, oh, please, I want everything, but I'm not going to do anything. I find that's also wrong for the female species as well. If they're going to sit there and go, I want everything and not do nothing, it doesn't work. So there are roles, but I think there are room to deviate, but the room to deviate only is there for people who are bold enough to do, and not everyone's going to be like that. So he talks.
Yeah,
it
don't
makes
talk in
sense.
general.
Yeah.
Setting around the world, what is enough? You talk about being tall, muscular, you can shoot guns, all this stuff you talk about, right?
Yeah.
Some people aren't tall.
Yeah.
Naturally tall. What would you do if you weren't tall?
All right. So firstly, let's accept something. God has favorites.
Does he?
He certainly does.
Okay.
And I'm one of them. As are you, my dear. Look at your nice, beautiful smile. He gave it to you. God gave it to you, right? So God does have favorites, but it's not even about that. For the longest period of human time, for a man to be respected, for him to even be admired by society on any level, to some degree, he had to be a warrior. That's what men did. We fought.
Right.
That's what men did. We fought. So if you're out here as a man and you have no battle in your life, no conquest in your life, no form of war in your life, then what you do then? And it doesn't have to be physical. Physical is the best example of it. Every woman wants a boxer or a cage fighter. Of course you do.
Well, biologically, yes, because it means that, for me, everything is evolution, right?
Completely.
So it means that if, one day the government's coming, which they're coming, you want to know that he can physically protect you and the family, right?
Exactly. So every woman wants a boxer or a cage fighter, but this is a testament to the problem of the modern world, right?
Right.
Every single man watching this knows that women want fighters. Every single man watching this would love to be able to say he's a fighter, but 99% of the men watching this will not go fight because they are afraid. They're all cowards. They'll make up every excuse under the sun. Oh, I was busy with my Bitcoin. Oh, do. You're all a bunch of pussies. They are pussies, all of them. That's all they are. They're pussies. And women can...
See, so like, the news only portrays the negative stuff that he says about women because they don't like the fact that he empowers men. So see how he says it? Like, not many male role models will tell men in such a negative way that you're pussies. The way he says it.
Yeah.
But then he'll say it and then he'll be like, you need to go to a fighting gym, blah, blah, blah. You need to get your shit together. But obviously the government doesn't want men to have that kind of authority, and he says later on why the government he doesn't, because if too much men have power over their future and their life, that means that a revolution is more likely to happen.
Always.
And, yep.
It's like time and time again in history, like whenever people have their own thoughts and they band together and they see a system that's corrupt, they're going to have to overtake it.
Yeah,
it happens
exactly.
all the time.
So
yeah.
he says the government are purposely doing what they're doing because they don't want men to have a revolution. And then he also says, that's why the government dislike him. That's why they have to arrest him.
So if you want to have a woman who truly respects you, you need to put yourself through war in some form. Now, what most men do is they avoid physical confrontation because they're cowards, and they start doing physical confrontation. This is why men are so obsessed with money, because it's a degree of conquest. We can no longer walk the earth and conquer land, right? It's not like the olden days where we could just walk around as the Romans and just chop somebody up and take their land. So now we conquer the land financially. This is why men will work so hard to be a CEO and give up his whole life just to be a CEO, because then he gets to feel like he's conquering something. Men have that innate desire for conquest. So that's the second best thing, I guess, is to get rich. I mean, it's not a bad thing to be rich, certainly not. But if someone were to say to me, look, you have to build the archetype of an individual. You have to build a man from the ground up, and he has to be respected by both men and women. He'd be a dude getting in the cage, kicking the shit out of people. And every man knows this, and every man can do it. But they're all just pussies. We suffer from modern society, and all of its problems suffers from the fact that we are plagued by monumental cowardice amongst the male population. All men are cowards. They're cowards. It's literally mind-blowing to me, the level of cowardice we're forced to endure. Everyone's a pussy. Everybody. Why? Because they've been deliberately designed to be pussies. The Fem Centric systems has deliberately installed frames in their mind.
Which Fem Centric system?
Every single system is Fem Centric.
What's Fem Centric?
So centered around feminism.
The sizes you need, with an amazing selection of great styles.
I don't know. I think I need to build
That's
on
quite
that a
interesting
bit
because
more.
there's obviously the idea that we have this patriarchy, which I don't believe in, but now you're literally
Because I
saying
still
it's the
find the
complete opposite.
Oh, it's
patriarchy runs the
absolutely
government.
Matriarchy of
Okay.
society.
Yeah,
actually
it runs the government,
but it's not
but not the
fem-centric.
society. The society is fem-centric.
We suffer from
Well, I think maybe
modern society, all of its
ideologies
problems.
fem-centric, but only because that there is a patriarchy that is controlling as well.
But at the same time, okay, how do I put this? Obviously, it's controlled by the government, and it's dominated by men.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
it's
Everyone's on top of the men.
Yeah, it's dominated by men.
Yeah.
But they're not talking about that. They're talking about at the bottom level of society. He's talking about the bottom. Just like listen.
Suffers from the fact that we are plagued by monumental cowardice amongst the male population. All men are cowards. They're cowards. It's literally mind-blowing to me, the level of cowardice we're forced to endure. Everyone's a pussy. Everybody. Why? Because they've been deliberately designed to be pussies. The Fem-Centric systems has deliberately installed frames in their
Which
mind.
Fem Centric system?
Every single system is Fem-Centric.
That's quite interesting because there's obviously the idea that we have this patriarchy, which I don't believe in, but now you're literally saying it's the complete opposite.
Oh, it's absolutely.
We have a matriarchy of the system.
Oh, completely. Name a system which doesn't favor the female. Every court of law, the justice system, the legal systems, it all favors the system. It all favors the female. Even men, we biologically are designed to favor the female. I'm telling you, if you're a police officer and you turn up and a woman's crying, you instantly, to a degree, think, oh, this guy might be. There's a degree of guilt because we are designed to protect females. It's how we feel, right? So all this is.
Yeah, that's what he means by fem-centric. I remember now. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like that example you just used. The law, when, even though let's say me and my girlfriend get married and I make multi-million dollars, we get divorced, the money gets split. The money gets split because it has to favor the female because she has children to look after, etc. Even though I built most of it or done most of the hard work, whatever, doesn't matter, we're a team. It's designed to, look after the female. Yeah, like child support, everything. Yeah.
Well, in terms of the structural, because but then keep in mind it evolved that way.
Yeah, exactly. But it evolved that way, but I think it was done purposefully.
From the government,
whoever's controlling the world, I think it's done purposefully.
Then he better hurry up and control the world if he wants it to be different.
And then the Johnny Depp incident, I think that's fem-centric. She can make up whatever she wants and then drag her to, ruin his life.
But she did lose though.
Yeah, she lost. She lost because he had a fucking team of fucking lawyers to back him up. But if it wasn't for that, he would have lost.
Systems are Fem Centric. And the culture is Fem Centric. Everything we just talked about, a man, how he's supposed to raise a kid, that's going to be mind blowing to some people. And they're going to think, this guy's crazy. I should be at home changing diapers. Bro, you're supposed to be a warrior. You're supposed to be a warrior. You're at home changing diapers?
Okay, so there's this meme which is, bear with me, what is it, like, strong men create, strong men create
good times
create weak men create bad times,
Correct.
and so on and so on.
Correct. Are the strongest men of history, were they at home changing diapers? Did their wife tell them they weren't allowed out? Because we have a kid and I need help, or was he out there getting shit done? And this is the point. So a lot of things I say, people may disagree with them. People may say, I don't like the idea of that. Even some women may sit there and go, oh, that's wrong. There's a whole bunch of beta males who are going to try and pretend it's not true. But it's the absolute reality of Earth. It's the absolute reality of Earth. It's the truth, right? And it's very, very hard to be a man worthy of respect if you're going to stick to these fem-centric systems. We're suffering from monumental cowardice on every level. The entire male population, from the complete bottom to the absolute top, is corrupted by cowardice.
Let's talk about something you mentioned earlier, the scam.
Sure.
You guys know what we're talking about. I don't want to raise any red flags here, protecting the good old algorithm.
Sure.
So you have some interesting views on that. You, as soon as everything started and everything was shutting down, picking my words very carefully, you started writing, basically, you and your brother.
Correct. So I hold the record, and I will state this here publicly. I am sure I hold the record for the quickest reaction to the lockdown, because there's a lot of people now who understand that the things we were told were not necessarily true. It took them a while.
What is not true about what's going on right now?
All of it.
Can you be more specific?
The danger factor, the number of people who are affected by it, the reactions that we take and how they should have a positive effect, everything. It's all a psyop. Every single level of the entire, I'm trying to be careful with my words, every single level of the entire environment is corrupted. Because we live in a world now where everything is corrupted. I was saying this to someone the other day. There is nothing fair or just about the world anymore. Every single system, from the police to the judges to the governments, the tax, even the World Health Organization, even the doctors, all of it is corrupt. Head to toe, all of it is corrupted. All of it. So the whole thing is a scam. And I like to think I hold the record, because at the very, very, very beginning of lockdowns, all the people now who are anti-mask and anti-lockdown, they all complied. They all cupped out and got scared. Ooh, the cold. And me and my brother, we put it on Twitter, you have to timestamp. Within 3 seconds of this garbage, we're on planes flying to Sweden and Belarus, because they're the last countries without lockdown. And that's basically because we took the brave choice. My brother and I sat there and had a conversation. We said, this virus might be the real deal. We might get really sick.
Oh, you actually thought for a moment.
Well, back then it was when the people were dropping dead on TV, the Italian hospitals full. It looks like a real deal, right?
Stuff was coming out of China.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Okay.
So how do you know what to do? But me and my brother concluded, well, we don't know what to do, so let's take the bravest possible choice. Because you can't hide from a disease. It's going to be here forever. It's going to get us eventually. So let's make the bravest choice. Let's die like men. Let's charge at the gunfire. Because we're not cowards. Turns out we went to Sweden for 2 months in a wide open country, partying non-stop while everyone else was locked in their houses, and we realized, oh, everything's fine. Now, if every other man did that exact same thing, we wouldn't be where we are 2 years later. The reason we are suffering, because we are suffering, suffering the way we are suffering, is because of the monumental cowardice of man. Revolutions are nothing more than men standing in one place and complaining and screaming.
Is your website bounce
You
rate
agree with that point?
high?
What, the
Find
whole
out why
pandemic
with
thing?
Hotjar.
Not just that, but like
Can't get men to do that anymore.
why there wasn't such a revolt.
Oh, revolt with the whole thing.
Yeah, the
There
pandemic.
was, though.
Yeah, there was, but it wasn't that big.
It was still, there's some
It
countries
was.
that were like...
Yeah, some
pretty
countries,
full on,
some countries, but like the majority of mankind, pretty much, even I'm gonna admit myself, pussied out.
Yeah, because they don't want to die.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, we didn't want to die because we believed the information they were feeding us.
Because if we were to... I mean, it makes sense. Like, for him, he has the luxury to get on a jet and fly away.
Yeah.
Majority of people won't.
Yes.
There's not enough jets for everyone in the world. There's going to be kings and there's going to be peasants. That's just how the rule of it is. It makes sense. So I know he's trying to help people, but not everyone's going to get a jet.
No,
So,
not that.
yeah.
But what about the scamdemic?
I don't know. Like, to be honest, during that time, where I went?
Where?
I hopped on a plane to go to America.
Are you in the States?
Yeah, dude, that was like the highest peak of Australia. I flew up to America and realized no one's got masks on.
Yeah, see?
So I never got COVID.
Right,
Ever.
Yeah,
Me and I think, you know.
Yeah, see, exactly. You didn't get COVID,
yeah,
so
I
you
didn't.
You didn't think it was real? Do you think it was real?
Well, I mean, I
If
saw.
you didn't get it.
I had some friends who almost died. My cousins nearly died. So
But they didn't die.
It's and they were in like I think intensive care for like probably 20 days and shit like that. So it is to some extent real, but then I do find that it is survival of the fittest as well because people's immune systems aren't always that good. So, you know.
Well, I to a degree, I'm starting to question how real it was because anyone that spoke out against it was like being cancelled or get flagged on socials. So, and if they're flagging certain people on socials, what's the best way to win an argument? Delete the other side of the argument.
Of course.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but that's always okay.
That's
totally agree with him. The world's corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really admire what he's doing.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't know if he's gonna last.
He's not. He's already said it.
You know what
I'm
I
going to show you something. I'm going to show you,
know
something
what
after.
I mean?
I'm going to show you something later. So he says it, yeah? He goes, first thing they do is they're going to try to cancel me.
Of course.
And then they've already done that. They've already
Yeah,
deleted all his socials. Second thing they're going to do is then try to put me in jail. They've just done that.
Yeah.
Okay? They're going to, whatever that they've already made up their mind about him being guilty, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Third thing they're going to do is try to kill him. That's what he said already. He already said, he goes, yeah, I only have 3 lives in this game when you do what I do, and I'm up to my 3rd.
Too busy. They're too busy. They're at home with the kids. Oh, my wife said it's my
for someone to know their outcome, it's either they've figured out, like he's very intelligent.
Don't forget, yeah. Did he tell you at the beginning that his dad was a chess grandmaster?
Yeah.
So he didn't really tell you the whole story. At the age of 5, I think he won an under 16s chess tournament. He was state champion for the under 16s at the age of 5.
You don't even need to tell me. I'm watching him. I know he's a very intelligent guy, and he knows where the outcome of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Whether there will be some sort of effect, I don't know, because he's put all his content out there, and at any moment he could go. But what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's a hard one.
I was watching.
He's making a risk. He's taking a huge risk here, this guy.
I was watching another podcast and of not him, of other people talking about him, and they were saying, "Look, Andrew Tate, you can't kill him now because he's more than who he is as a person. He's an idea now. He's become an idea, and you can't kill the idea because he's inspired millions of young men around the world to be like more like him." He's inspired like the masculine.
But the thing is, if they do kill him, then that cuts it off.
I don't know. Even if they do kill him, I'll still believe in like.
Yeah, but then with passage of time,
but
get erased.
Obviously, yes, but he's inspired so many men to become the best versions of themselves. And then like millions of men will like when they're being spoken about or talking to on podcasts, and it was the defining moment that you turned your life around, and then most of them will be like. Andrew Tate, and he says the same thing about his dad. His dad lives through him.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like for a human Tate guy, like he's probably not got much options.
Yeah, well, you know what? He's gonna go down in history, and people are gonna be talking about him for ages. I reckon. He's like, what do you call it? Like he's forever in like the history books. I reckon.
I think he could prolong his life a bit more, and there could be a strategy somewhere because
I don't know.
He might have came out too soon, too quick.
The way information travels now, it has to be quick.
But still, like as I said, we'll have to see. It was
we'll find out when we find out.
Take the babysit.
It's more.
Peppa Pig.
It's more than that. It's so much more. That's funny you say Peppa Pig actually, because
thought while everyone else was locked in their houses, and we realized, everything's fine. Now, if every other man did that exact same thing, we wouldn't be where we are 2 years later. The reason we are suffering because we are suffering, suffering the way we are suffering, is because of the monumental cowardice of man. Revolutions are nothing more than men standing in one place and complaining and screaming. Can't even get men to do that anymore. Too busy. They're too busy. They're at home with the kids. Oh, my wife said it's my day to babysit.
But it's more.
Peppa Pig.
It's more than that. It's so much more. That's funny you say Peppa Pig actually, because Boris Johnson was talking about Peppa Pig the other day.
Boris Johnson, listen.
No, but other than children staying at home with the family,
how
do we stop what is
all of it? Leia, my dear, it's all of it. This is what I'm trying to say. We just started this interview, and you said it's unusual that I say a man should have more than one female. right? To you,
No,
that
not unusual. Well, it is unusual. I just don't necessarily. It's not what I'm looking for. So for me, I'm just like,
I'm heartbroken.
that's it. I'm sure.
But the point I'm making is everything translates, right? It's a spider's web. If you're gonna find a man who's truly warrior-minded, who's truly conquest-minded, who's truly hard to govern, is he gonna get one chick and let her tell him what to do with his life? No. He's gonna be that guy who does whatever he wants. And this is where we also tie into loyalty, because loyalty is a completely misunderstood concept.
You value loyalty.
Oh, absolutely. But male loyalty, masculine loyalty is completely misunderstood. All these dudes out here who are at home with their wife thinking they're loyal, you're not loyal. Loyalty is having options and returning to the same place, not only having one option. They're very different things. If I walk into the store and they only sell apples and I buy an apple, I'm not loyal to apples. I don't have a choice. Loyalty is walking in the store where they sell all the fruit. I buy apples 6 days a week. Occasionally I get a big fat pineapple and I go back to apples the day after. That's loyalty. Without choice, there's no loyalty. So most of these dudes and most women who say, he's loyal, he's lame and he can't get nothing else. That's not loyal. Loyal is a dude who has all those options and still is in love with you. That's what loyalty is. So masculine loyalty is completely misconstrued and misunderstood anyway. The truth is about most of these dudes who talk about being loyal, they couldn't get something else if their life depended on it. Nobody wants it. So when I talk about a man having multiple women, I'm not even saying he's gonna be a disloyal man. I know a lot of men, we don't have to talk about me. I have some friends who are some Russian guys, they're multimillionaires, they have a wife, she's beautiful, she's in a Bentley, she's living the good life. When the Russian mafia are out to play, he has no chicks? You think he ain't running around with a bunch of Barbie dolls? No, of course he is. But he goes home to his wife, and his wife's like, he can do what he wants, I don't care about them, I have the family, I have the kids. And she's smart, and he's smart, and it's a happy environment. Only here in the West are you gonna try and find a mafia boss and say, you're not allowed to do that. Come on, he's a G! He's a G!
I respect it, I understand it, but for me personally, I just don't think that's something that I could
Yeah,
be comfortable
you're living in a fairy tale, my dear. Because that means you have to compromise. No problem with it, because most of these chicks out here and most of these dudes out here do compromise. Everyone watching this compromises. I say this all the time. If you were rich when you met the partner you're currently with, you wouldn't even be with him. You think you love your wife? No, you don't. Because if you were a multimillionaire, you would have never even got with that chick. So everyone to some degree compromises. If you're saying that I value sexual exclusivity above everything else, that's fine. But you're gonna have to compromise. If I want the most reliable car I can buy, I can't go into the Ferrari garage and say it has to be reliable. They're like, go buy a Toyota then. This is what comes with a Ferrari. You get the performance, you get the beauty, sometimes it breaks down. That's how it goes. That's what comes with a Ferrari. If you want a top tier man, he's gonna do certain things. And most women intrinsically know this. If you go to one of these parties in Miami and one of these chicks is chilling with Chris Brown, do you think she believes he's gonna be loyal? No, doesn't matter, it's Chris Brown.
Yeah, I don't touch Chris Brown.
Well, it was just an example. My point is women intrinsically understand at a certain value of male that they're not gonna get sexual exclusivity and they don't care. They only try and get that crap from beta males. It's only a beta male they try and, okay, well, you're not allowed nothing else, da-da-da. When you're a
I
real G.
understand and I agree with you to a very large extent. However, I still want to prove you wrong one day.
Listen.
I will prove you wrong one day.
You can go out there and find the biggest bad boy you can find who is loyal to you, which is fine. But the fact that he is sexual exclusive to you means that for some reason, we don't know why yet, there is a human metric in which he does not excel in every form. So you can go out there and, like I said, Toyotas are really reliable, Ferraris are unreliable. You might go out there and get yourself a nice BMW. That's sure. That's fine. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. You can go get yourself a nice BMW.
I don't like BMWs.
Well, that's what you're aiming for.
No.
But when the Ferrari pulls up next door, when I meet your dude, I'm be like, yeah, he's all right, but how much? What, less than 100 mil? No, come on.
Well,
He's a broke.
I'll prove you wrong. I'll prove you wrong.
And maybe he'll have money, but he'll lack somewhere else. So this is my point: is that the true masculine in the realm of true masculine excellence, one of the benefits of such is sexual exclusivity. Because females, you have so many choices. Most men out here have no choice, and the very few men who are at the peak of the human experience of a man have all the choice. And to find a man who has all the choice, which is extremely rare amongst males, like less than 1%, and say, you're gonna be with me and me only, it's hard. It's hard. Why would he do that? Why would he do that?
I'll prove you wrong. I'd love to prove you wrong, and look, it's on the cards. We'll talk about this.
I hope you...
That's an interesting one.
That's something that he gets chopped up about too, and he because he inspires men to try to be that 1%. It doesn't make sense because if too many men are trying to be that 1%, that means they're technically bettering themselves to get to that 1% of males, you know?
Yeah.
If you're going to have, I don't know, like 100,000 new multi-millionaires who work hard, train hard in the gym, obviously the government's not going to like that because there's too many alphas around.
But I think also like that piece of information can be really misconstrued though, because there will be men who are like not in
Yes,
that
yeah,
category.
they're not even
Who'll
close
be like,
to
I'm
1%.
just gonna go around and fuck anything I see, you know what I mean? Which causes a lot of dramas as well.
So that's the argument of the system right now. The system is saying, well, too many young males, 14-year-olds, are misconstruing this information, and
because they're thinking
they're saying
which is probably not.
They might have the mindset of it, but they haven't worked for
they're
it yet.
not there yet.
Yeah, they haven't gotten there yet.
Which is probably becomes problematic.
Yes,
because they're not where he's at, and they're going around espousing the certain messaging that they're not entitled to.
Exactly.
Makes sense. I can see where the problem is. With
but you know, obviously he's speaking from his own experience. Like, you know, for him to get to that certain thing, any girl that comes to him and wants sexual exclusivity, he's like, well, I've got all the choices now. Why would I, you know?
Yeah. But I like, from his mindset, I totally get. But I think how it's been young men listening to that, how they take it and put it into their perspective could be problematic.
Yeah, it is.
And governments will probably be pissed off if there's a lot of dumb kids going around saying, yeah, this is right. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Couple years and we'll see how.
I hope you have a happy marriage. I'm not saying you're not going to find a nice guy. I'm not saying you won't find a guy who won't be loyal to you. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that there's compromise.
I understand. We'll see. We'll see whether we compromise.
There's compromise.
I want to go back to talking about the lockdowns and everything like that, right? Sure. Because it's getting absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people hate when I say this, but I believe it, so I'm going to say it. There are a lot of resemblances with 1940s in terms of us and them
100%.
and you know, creating a second-class system
100%.
of people. So how do we get out of this? Because all tyranny does eventually come to an end.
Does it?
Well, we see it happens again. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that I've heard recently. I think it's amazing. But how do we then come out of it? I'm not saying in 100 years we're not going to go back into it, but I'll be dead.
Yeah.
You'll be dead.
Yeah.
What do we do?
My boy will be on the streets. Don't worry. That's what I mean. That's why I have to raise him right. Because
Right.
the next warrior
You
class.
have a boy?
No, but I'm going to make about 20. So don't worry about it. So, yeah, it's a difficult question. The pessimist in me kind of thinks that this is different than all the other tyranny they've tried to enact before because they have a technological advantage and they're getting to the point where they might be able to ensure via technology that they can keep a degree of tyranny existing. Part of me is not scared, but part of me is pessimistic in regards to the fact that they have the tools now to put things in place which are going to be extremely difficult to break. They're going to put paradigms in place that are going to be extremely difficult to break. I've lost all faith in humanity. I didn't have much before this, and now I've lost it all. Like really, genuinely. And the biggest mental shift for me has been, before all this crap, it was the BLM riots and Trump and all this stuff, and everyone was screaming all cops are bad, and I'm like, no, come on, we need the police, you know, law enforcement, but I'm gonna change sides. All cops are bad. Why are you enforcing this crap?
Yeah.
It's insane. The police are out here, the ones actually cracking skulls. It's amazing that a very few elite can tell another select group of the slaves to go and enact tyranny upon the other group of the slaves, and they're gonna obey. Like, this could all end overnight if the police would wake up and say, no, that's not fair, but they won't do it. So all cops are bad. So I've lost faith in the law enforcement systems. I've lost faith in the judicial system. I've lost faith in governments to the point where I sold all my real estate.
Did you?
I refuse to even hold real estate under a government. I hate them so much. Every single one of them. I can't stand any of them. They're all corrupt from head to toe. You think you own a house? Oh, you own that house, right? Go piss off the IRS. Tell me how long you own the house. Some cops are going to turn up with a piece of paper and you're out. You don't own anything. The whole thing's a scam. The whole system's a scam. And you're talking about how it's going to end. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to end. My answer to all of this is the organization that I control and run, the War Room. What we do in our organization is we try very, very hard. We prepare people to be adaptable. So in regards to their finances, in regards to getting multiple passports, that kind of thing. Because Darwin said it. It's not the strongest that survives, it's the most adaptable that survives. We're here in Miami right now, right? If Miami locks down, I'll bounce. I'm that guy. I can live anywhere. I can go to Tokyo tomorrow, live for the rest of my life. So I think the smartest thing you can do in the current times is try and prepare yourself or try and construct a life which allows you to be adaptable, because nobody knows what's coming next. I don't know what's coming next, and nobody knows where to be. It's very, very hard to be proactive in such a chaotic environment. You need to be reactive, and that's what the war room's all about. So I'm trying to save myself and my people. That's the first thing I'm trying to do. I'm not really trying to save the world.
No.
Because a lot of these people out here, they deserve the slavery. You deserve it. Listen, at the beginning of this crap, when I saw all the masculine influencers on Twitter, the whole manosphere, everything, when I saw them all be pussies, everyone, you all deserve slavery. Oh, now you've changed your mind. Now you're anti-mask. You think I forgot? I look stupid. Elephants never forget, right? And it's easy to be brave now. The sentiment has changed. That's not being brave. That's just going with the flow. The bravery was required at the beginning. When me and my brother were getting arrested in Germany for refusing to wear masks, you were at home tweeting pro-mask. All these losers, all of them, all the conservative, all the right-wing, all the masculine, you were all cowards. All of you, and you all deserve the slavery which is going to be bestowed upon you. If I had tweeted something pro-mask, I would be issuing a public apology each week. I'm sorry for the fact that I aided in the enslavement of man by believing the propaganda machine. I apologize.
Yeah.
I was part of the problem. These guys aren't even sorry. They're just going to sit there and start now changing it and tweeting anti-mask and thinking that nobody notices. You're the reason we fucking got here. I lost respect for so many people. So many people I actually respected. I lost respect for all of them. No warrior blood. Cowards. How are you going to roll next to me, be my boy, if you're going to fall for propaganda programming?
Yeah. How are you going to go to war together?
How are you going to go to war? How am I going to sit in a police interview if you fall for propaganda programming? Listen, police can arrest me today. If they come in and say, your brother said this, I'm like, no, he did not. Yeah. Shut up. But with you pussies, I might be thinking maybe he was pro-mask last week. All you men are cowards. Most of the people out here deserve the slavery. And I really do think that there's going to be a social split, even worse than before, in regards to the rich and the poor. What's going to happen is you're going to have people who have absolute freedom and people who have complete, I think it's going to be polarized. It's going to get worse than ever. Have-nots and have-yots. And I'm on the right side of the equation. So worst case, I'll be in my jet doing my thing. So worst case, I know I'm okay. And I just have a duty to protect the bloodline. But man, I don't want to be pessimistic or nothing, but when the rally call came at the beginning of the battle, I stood there by myself. Me and Tristan are standing there like, where is everybody else? And you can, I don't need to name names. Anyone who's on Twitter, every single masculine account you can think of, all the big strong men, the red pill, alpha, all the conservatives, all cowards. All of them. You can go through their accounts and see all of them cock out, pussies, all of them. It's crazy. And that's how we go. So what can I do? I'm just one man, Leia.
Ready?
So that's about the scamdemic, the lockdown, okay? But obviously he's in a position in his life where he can see things from a different, like from a height, like a bird's eye. Do you know what I mean? We're at the bottom, okay? We're at the bottom. We only get to see what the government give us.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's not. Okay, so at the moment he's still locked up, right?
Yeah.
Now he spoke about having kids and passing that. Like he kind of miscalculated to get into the point to be detained and potentially killed. So then he can't pass down for his kids. So there is a couple of miscalculations
hold on.
with him as well.
He doesn't want to tell people that he's got kids.
What? So he's got kids?
So here's the thing, yeah? He understands that there's obviously, with the things that he says, there's going to be a lot of haters, people sending him threats, and it's because there's crazy people out there. Yeah. There's a lot of crazy people in the world, okay? So he always calculated to never show that how many kids he's got or how many wives he's married to or whatever. And then someone, by accident, someone that he spoke to, not on a podcast, like he spoke to him on a podcast, but like in confidence, he told him that he had X amount of kids to X amount of wives. And they accidentally let that leak to the public. And so now it's out there in the world that he's got, we just don't know who and how many.
Okay.
Yeah, so apparently he actually has kids out there now. Apparently he actually has. So he's very calculated in what he does.
I have to admit, like, it's a bit of an interesting one because he's very intelligent. He sees ahead, but he's not happy.
Oh yeah, he's very angry at the way he can see ahead, but he understands he can't beat the elites in controlling the world. But the best thing he can do is empower as many men as he could. So like he may not win the battle in this lifetime, but lifetime. Yeah. So he kind of sees himself as, you know, the Terminator.
Which one? The Arnold Schwarzenegger, or the
is the main character Jason O'Connor? No, what's the main character's name?
Yeah, the dude. Yeah, the.
Yeah, but like he might just if he's not the hero to win the battle, but he will inspire maybe someone that will win the battle. Sorry, no, not Terminator. Matrix, the Matrix.
Oh,
where he pulls people out of the Matrix.
Yeah.
But he's not the one to fucking beat the system, but he will help find people to beat it.
No, I guess everyone's got a role, and that's the role that he chooses.
Yeah, it again. Sorry,
because
yeah, I'm listening.
No, I'm just trying to understand like his headspace, and it seems to me he's thought.
No, he's not Neo. He's Morpheus.
Like he's thought of everything, but unfortunately for him,
he calls himself Morpheus, not Neo. Sorry. So do you know who Morpheus is? The black guy.
Black guy.
The black guy that frees people.
Yeah.
But he knows he's not the one to beat the system, but he's the one to free people.
But then at the same time, if you free people, people will still build and take part in the system later on. So I'm still not quite sure what he hopes from doing all of this. Yeah. You know what I mean? Governments are built on people, right?
Well, he's freed my mind. If it wasn't for him, I would have fucking just lived the rest of my life out in Sydney. But because of him, I want to fucking travel the world and not.
I know, like that. That's the
Free,
inspiration for you. But for him, he's putting himself under a lot of. He's putting his neck out there. He's dying for this.
He's ready to get killed. He's ready.
Yeah,
to get killed.
I know, and I'm just wondering in my headspace.
Also, because he hasn't spoken about God yet.
Because I feel like this is what I'm thinking. Someone like Tate, he's probably getting to the point where there's nothing else more he can experience in his life.
Yeah, exactly. He says that too. He goes, "Look, I've done everything. I've done everything that I could experience in my life. The next thing that I could do is, help humanity as much as I can." So he thinks there's a bigger fucking picture.
Well, I think for him, he's looking at life after death kind of thing. If that was what he's pursuing, because he's done everything, he's had everything, he's had every experience. There's nothing. Maybe he's running out of the struggle.
Yeah, well, this is his like pretty much his final battle, I'd say.
I know I look like that guy, but I have limits to my abilities, baby. There's only so much I can do.
I think you're totally right. What we're going to see is like the middle class just gone, right?
Completely.
It's going to be the
Have-nots,
freedom.
have-nots and have-yachts.
Have-nots and have-yachts. There you go. I want to be part of the have-yachts. That's the goal.
You will be. You will be. Don't worry.
So you spoke about getting rid of all your real estate.
Yeah.
And I understand that, and I really understand the pessimism you have and the deep hatred towards the system. I understand it.
Yeah.
You said something really funny actually a few years ago. You said to me when you had nothing and you were living in America, they couldn't help you. But as soon as you left, the IRS knew how to get hold of you.
Oh, yeah,
they knew how to call you.
Oh yeah. They know how to find your ass when you owe them money.
Yeah.
But it's never, like if they owe you money, it takes months and months and months to turn up, if ever, right?
Yeah.
But if you owe them money, it's a woohoo, you better pay us. The whole thing is a scam. It's like the entire financial system, which we can discuss at length. The entire financial system is designed to steal wealth from the poor and just turn it into numbers on the screen of the rich.
Destruction by design.
Yeah, the whole thing is corrupt. And when you understand the system, you understand that the system is rigged to a point where most people do not stand a chance to ever win.
So let's talk about this. In what way is it rigged?
It's rigged because, we can go down the economics of it all.
Yeah.
But my very basic premise of it is that there's a whole bunch of people out here who are effectively slaves. And when you're a slave if you have a job in any form, effectively. Some slaves are better paid than others, but most people are slaves. In the days of slavery, what would happen is the slave masters would use control and aggression and influence to convince you to do work for free. So what they could do is they could get work out of you with something that they can generate from the sky, right? They can be aggressive from the sky, influence from the sky, a couple bullets are cheap, whatever it took, and they could get your labor. Now we have the exact same thing, but they just use fiat. They use fiat money. If the people in charge of the world can print unlimited amounts of said thing, and you'll give up your life for certain amounts of said thing, then they own you. They control you. Oh, you need $100 to do this. Print. Off you go, slave. It doesn't matter. It's not real. So who cares? So the entire world's a slavery system to some degree. Maybe you can make enough of those dollars and buy your...
So I think that's another reason why they don't like him. You see how he's kind of like just exposing everything. Like before I ever watched him, I'm like, you know what? I never done my research about where money comes from, and then I started doing research about where money comes from, and I realized,
yeah, it's print. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a government run, man.
Well, a lot of people don't know that, Maria.
Yeah,
a lot of people
it's
don't know
pretty
that.
much.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much just like, all right, well, you know, if you want to escape the slavery, you have to make as much of this fake thing as you can. But you have to understand where it comes from. You need to understand all these things.
Yeah.
And if too many people learn from this, and you know, then the whole system will eventually crumble.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know it's not good for humanity. Needs X amount of slaves.
They need systems.
Yeah,
otherwise
they need
it's
systems.
gonna be
Yeah.
anarchy.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess that's why the government doesn't like what he's doing.
freedom, as I have, right? But in general, it's a slave system. And anyone who's out here who still believes, because it seems to be there are some people who still believe in like saving up and save my money, and if I'm really diligent and I get a mortgage, and in 28 years I might own the property. Man, it's a trap. All of it is a trap. Have you ever met a rich person, asked them how they got rich, and they said saving?
No.
No! This is the biggest...
Sleeping floors, I worked so hard, I sleep so many floors.
And I saved it.
And I didn't have that morning coffee, you know?
No, complete lie. And everything they teach you about financial literacy is a lie. Everything they teach you about wealth creation is a lie. Everything they teach you about what you're supposed to do with your money and how you're supposed to think is a lie. They get your ass in debt at the very, very beginning.
So how did you
Education.
realize all this? How did you realize all this?
God has his favorites.
No, how did you realize all
God
this?
has his favorites.
God can instill potential into an individual, but doesn't mean that the individual is going to fulfill that potential. Something in the environment has to happen.
I operate with divine purpose.
Absolutely not. So how did you realize all this?
I just, I always, my entire life, my father was a chess grandmaster. I was a chess player. So at the age of 5, I was Indiana State chess champion. And when I was 8, I was on my way to becoming a Fede master. So I was one of those child chess geniuses. I never actually ended up becoming a chess master because we moved to England. My father stayed in America, blah, blah, blah. But I've always been pretty good at analyzing the chessboard. And even from a very, very young age, I just understood, and I don't know exactly where I got it from. I understood the world is a scam, all of it. I was walking to school one day, walking to college, sixth form, with my 4 friends, and a Ferrari went past. And I was like, bro, how do we get one of them? He's like, oh, don't know. I said, what do you mean, don't know? Doesn't it bother you? He has 400 grand for a car. Doesn't that anger you that he has 400 G's for a car and our parents are broke, we're on a council estate? They're like, I guess. That's the average man. Like, the average man has no fire inside of him. I'm 16. I couldn't sleep for 3 days till I saw a Rari. I was like, I want a Rari. I want one.
Yeah.
Now I have 4. Right? So there's
Only 4? Is that it?
only 4, but I have 22 cars as a whole. So
Only 22?
Only 22. Sorry. I'm sorry. I hope you meet a rich man one day. But this is the exact point, right? So I always had the fire inside of me. And what happened is, growing up in Luton especially, all the Asian boys who were driving these fast cars, when you go to a petrol station at 3 in the morning and a Lambo and a Rari pull up, you know they're dealing drugs.
Yeah.
You don't look at them and go, oh, he worked hard in school. No way. No, exactly. So I always had an intrinsic understanding that the only way to truly get rich is to break the system in some degree. So when I was going to school and the school was trying to purport the system, they're trying to convince me that the system is the best way to have a successful life, I was sitting there going, but everyone's living the life I want broke the system. I don't believe in any of this. The final straw for me is I actually did very, very good in my A-levels. I was supposed to go to university. I got an A in business after only 3 of the 5 tests, because I aced every single one. I did this advanced test, this distinction, got a distinction in this, and I was offered free university in the UK in Ascot.
Wait. Oh, in Ascot.
Ascot for business. It was free.
Yeah, he's very intelligent.
Yeah.
You can tell that he's very, very intelligent. And I think currently on this planet, there's nothing more that
So cool, I get to do uni for free.
Honestly, that's why he's trying to fight the enslavement of man, because there's nothing else that offers him a challenge. And he says this in another podcast, I could just take my millions and go hide somewhere and just enjoy the rest of my life on a yacht with girls and escape. But I think I have a bigger purpose on this planet than just escape with women. So that's what he says.
But I also think he's done that enough. It's getting boring for him as well, He's trying to look for something else, something stimulating, and fighting the government is probably
the biggest battle you could do.
A battle that he wants to give it a go,
I think it's the biggest battle you can do.
Clever motherfucker. Good. So, but then they asked me to do a personal statement.
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah. So did I. So I'm like, personal statement, you already said yes to me for free. And who's going to read this? Hi, my name's Andrew. I like to kickbox. Who cares? Like, you've already said yes to me. So it's during tutor class. I'm arguing with my tutor saying, well, I don't need to do a personal statement. They already said yes to me. And she's like, everyone has to do one. I said, no one's going to read this junk. She's like, everyone has to do one. I said, you know what? I won't go then. That's how stubborn I was. My mom went crazy. You threw away free university over a personal you could have just wrote one. You could have done it. I said, listen, I'm gonna be a kickboxing champion. Don't worry about it. Right? So
When stuff doesn't make sense and you're doing things for no reason.
but there was a reason. The reason to me was that
Doing
was
a personal statement. Doing
Yeah.
a personal statement doesn't make sense.
of course.
Right.
And I saw that as a genuine infringement. That was oppression. I can't accept that. No, I know I'm smart enough and I'm stubborn and I've always been stubborn. I'm like, no, I'll be fine without your university, without your personal statement. Goodbye. I must have been the only person to ever throw away free university in the UK. But I didn't go. Best thing that ever happened to me was not going to university. Thank God. That's a 4-year head start. Everyone's out here in uni, I was making money. I started off with a really basic, boring job. I was carrying boxes of ice in a fish market. You know, I wasn't doing anything elaborate, but at least I was working. At least I was getting up at 5 in the morning, running to work, working all day, running to the fight gym, fighting all night, running home.
This is what I respect. This.
I didn't have a car.
Yeah.
My family didn't have a car, right? It was literally just run. I used to run 9 miles a day to get places. I didn't get places, I just run. So, like, I couldn't wear nice clothes because I get sweaty, right? So I was this guy who used to wear tracksuit, a t-shirt, take my t-shirt off so I didn't sweat too much and just run everywhere around Luton. You just see me, the crazy guy, just running.
I really want people, if you don't know Luton, please look up Luton.
It was bad.
I actually
I grew
saw
up in a bad
a video on Instagram. It was just randomly came up on my explore page
Yeah.
of Luton, and it was just some random guy on the street just filming some black guys trying to stab some other guys in the middle of broad daylight, running with a shank this big.
God.
And I was like, fuck, that's really the
Yeah,
ghetto.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
just broad daylight in the middle of the street.
And he
The
has-
middle of the street where
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
Luton.
yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like,
Gosh.
you know what, that doesn't even happen out here.
Nah.
It was like, let's say it was near the shopping center, and I'm gonna give you an example, like as if like Bankstown shops or something.
Yeah.
Just imagine someone running down the street trying to stab someone in broad daylight in front of other
Far
people.
out, geez.
That's what I saw of Luton, and I'm
my
like,
God.
place. But
So what did you do though? You went to the fish market? Is that what you
Fish
said?
market.
Fish market. You were kickboxing.
Correct.
And then what did you do?
right, so
I want to know
I
how you made money.
you want to know the whole story of how I got rich?
Yeah.
It's a really long story.
Every time.
But yeah, but I've always had, the point is I've always had that fire inside of me. I've always had that desire inside of me. I think every man is born with a masculine fire. I think it's certainly the reason why so many things in history happen. It's the reason why so many armies tried to conquer the land. Look, why? Why would the Romans wake up and look in a random direction and say, let's go over there, whoever's there is kill him? That's inside of men. There's something masculine about conquest, right? That fire has been dampened. It's been dampened by distraction and consumption and all these things. But for me, I think the fact that I was so broke, I couldn't really distract myself. I couldn't consume anything. I couldn't buy anything. Like, so what do? It was either a life of crime or a life of punching people in the face and getting paid for it. So I chose to get paid. And the original question is why I resisted the system. I could feel all these little triggers my whole life of the system trying to oppress me. And every single person I saw living the life I was aspiring to was outside of the system. Even now, to me now, I consider myself outside the system. I'm outside the matrix. I can say what I want. You're gonna get me fired? Who are you gonna do? You're gonna go get me fired. Anyone who's triggered by this, get me fired. Good luck.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I love living outside the system. I always aspired for it. So that's the simple answer. I really think that I have to be careful what I say on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't want to get us taken down and
Yeah.
demonetization.
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say on YouTube. But any man out here with any kind of money, you have my network, which is the War Room, which is the premier network in the world. And besides us, I don't think there's anything else. But you need to be very, very understanding of the fact that if you're going to stay inside the matrix and be a fully law-abiding citizen for the next 10 years, you're going to get crushed.
Yeah.
You're going to get crushed. You need to either get another residency to another country. You need to get political connections.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, everyone saw my Twitter during these lockdowns. I traveled to 30 countries during lockdowns.
Yeah, you
All
partied.
I partied, yeah.
Yeah, I
And
saw
it's
it.
all because I knew somebody. I know somebody everywhere. I had a guy in Russia who gave me a business visa through his company to go to Russia during close. I know everybody, right? So with my connections, my network, and the number of passports I have, which is in excess of 10, I can do whatever I want.
On those passports, how does it work?
Okay, so
Like, is your actual name on it?
this is YouTube, my dear.
I want to know how it works.
This is YouTube.
Can you tell me after? Can you tell me what you tell me and then tell me the rest after?
No, but it's
No,
kind of.
I want to know how it works. You can give
I'm
me,
not, all right, I'm not,
give me the
okay.
subtle, give me the subtle version.
Okay, so I'm not plugging my organization, but one of the first things we do in the War Room is we have a specific section and a construct that helps people obtain multiple residencies.
Okay.
And the reason that's so important is because if you only have one passport, then one government has jurisdiction over your life.
Correct.
And I don't trust any of these governments. Now, the idea of living off-grid is outdated. The idea you're going to go to some hut in the forest and sit there with a bunch of guns and that, it's not real, right? The New World Order's here. We're all plugged into the system. The best thing you can do as opposed to living off-grid is to live on as many grids as possible, because that allows you a lot more flexibility. At the height of Corona, when I was traveling around, when I wanted to go into a country, they said, you're not allowed in the country, Americans are banned. English people are banned. Swedish people are banned. Romanians are allowed in.
Yeah.
Cool, so I'm the same guy, right? I'm just whipping out passports.
Wait, but is your name the same on all the passports? I really wanted to know that.
Anyway, the point is, the War Room, the organization I run, CobraTate.com, that's something we specifically help with. And it's very easy to do. There's ancestral roots.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of roots. It's not hard. It's just a bunch of paperwork and headache. But we have a team, we have lawyers, we have people who can help make all that happen. So if you're a man and you have any kind of money, you need to be realizing that a degree of that money is worth spending on trying to obtain freedom. And to obtain freedom, you need to have as many passports as possible.
Okay, so we'll talk about the passports after, clearly. Got it. Okay, I'll learn all about this afterwards. So let's talk crypto. You were very rude about the crypto people.
Okay. Am I rude? I don't want to be rude.
Okay.
I don't want to be rude about crypto people.
Yeah, I like them. I'm a crypto people.
Yeah, you're a crypto person, yeah. And I'm not. I know a lot of crypto guys who are cool. I have a lot of good friends.
Yeah.
I've made a load of money in crypto.
Yeah.
I love a pump.
Chainlink, right?
Yeah, I bought like loads.
Yeah.
I caught Sol at like $6. Blah, blah, blah.
Damn.
Yeah. So I love crypto, and I love a crypto pump. Everybody does. When I say detrimental things about the crypto community, the point I'm trying to make is that many people out here, especially men, are not prepared for wealth. And when I say they're not prepared for wealth, they haven't been through the struggle that's going to allow them to become a man of caliber before they find money. They haven't done the running to the fish stall, running to the gym, getting punched in the face for money. They've never done that. So what happens when a 19-year-old kid catches a crypto pump on some junk like Shiba? Now he's a millionaire, fine. But a few things have happened. First, his ability to work hard has now been destroyed. He'll never work hard again, right? Because look how much money he made with blind luck. You think he's ever gonna go out there and get a job and take a pay of 50 grand a year and really dedicate? Never. Even if he lost all that money, the only thing he could ever think to do is to just try and get another pump. He's a gambler now. He's effectively a gambler for the rest of his life. So his whole work ethic's been decimated. That's the first thing. The second thing that happens when someone like him catches a crypto pump is because he has no life experience, no real world experience, no struggle, etc. He's now, Tristan calls them geese.
Geeks?
Geese.
Geese?
Yeah, like geese.
Okay.
You femise the geese. And femise is another word he made up, but you just femise them. They're femisable. Femise them.
He made it up. I don't know what that means.
You
No
do
matter how many
know.
times you
You're a
say it.
chick. You know what it means.
No matter how many times you say
Listen,
made up word, I don't know.
femise is you turn up with your pretty smile.
Okay.
Oh, I love you. He gets femised. He gets taken out of the game. He gets femoosed.
Whipped.
Yeah, whipped. Like he has no caliber. He's no character, right? He's got money, but money is nothing more than an amplifier. Money doesn't change who you are. The problem with most of these crypto dorks is that they were dorks and now they're rich dorks, but you're still a dork. Yeah, money is just an amplifier. I'll give you an example. Lambo pulls up.
Yeah.
Nerd gets out. Now he's a super nerd. Oh, some tech dork. He has Lambo. Who gives a shit to nerd? Lambo pulls up. Big man gets out. Now he's a mafia boss. So the point is that the Lambo is not what makes you a mafia boss. The Lambo, if you have all the other qualities, will amplify your qualities into that sphere. It's an amplifier. Money's an amplifier. And the point I'm making about wealth and crypto when I insult these guys is that a lot of these guys don't have any of the qualities they need to be amplified. They don't have anything worth amplifying. If you're a man and you've made a bunch of money on crypto, the smartest thing you can possibly do is understand that the traditional paths to wealth, pre-crypto, taught you a lot about being a man. If I had to make millions the old-fashioned way, I'd have to learn to negotiate, I'd learn how to handle stress, learn how to work really hard, learn how to network. I'd have to learn so many things. These autists don't even learn none of that. Just mask, they don't know anything. So my point is that they've missed so many lessons on the path to wealth that wealth used to teach. This is why women used to respect money so much, not just for the money, but you knew you were talking to an ambitious, connected, smart, intelligent man.
Yeah.
Now you can meet a man with money and he's none of them things. He's literally none of them. You just call it crypto pump. It's a unique atmosphere we're in. It's temporary, but it's unique. And when I say to when I insult the crypto guys, like, look, you have millions and millions of dollars, you need to get some masculine accountability. Not the plug, but the war room's the exact kind of thing you need to be in, or you need to go down to a fight gym, etc., etc. You need to learn all the lessons you missed on your path to wealth. And that's why when I insult crypto guys, that's what I mean. So I'll tell you something. I've been to these crypto events, blah, 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 blah. I'm the only real G. Okay, maybe some of them have more hundreds of millions of dollars than me. Cool. I'm the only one who ain't scared. I'm the only one who'll throw down the street. I'm the only one who, if a gun came in the building, would be looking to take your assailant out. Everyone else would be running like girls. You think money makes you something? Money doesn't make you anything, especially not in the harsh reality of Earth. And the really harsh realities of Earth, bravery makes you something, not your money. Your mask ain't gonna save you if some dude rolls up on you with a blade and decides to stick it in your fucking neck. It's garbage. So these men aren't men. They're amplified dorks. And now they're all over Twitter with their little NFTs and their little cartoon faces thinking they're something. I bought this NFT. You still don't matter, G. You still don't matter because you bought an NFT. And that's the whole problem with the crypto world, is that none of them are actually very impressive people in real life. And that's why I insult them. But I don't want to insult them in a negative way. I'm trying to inspire you guys. Look, you have the money now. Use that money to upgrade your character. Increase who you are as a man. You know, there's networks and things you can join. There's places you can go where you're going to have to genuinely be held accountable and struggle and suffer and go through some trauma so you can walk with some pride, as opposed to looking like a complete geek. There's no need for that.
You said something interesting. You said when you're lifting
So-
weights in the
That's
gym.
what I was talking about. How, you know, how the world's kind of changed. It's more
Yeah.
computer-based, screen-based. People at home, they're not being as physical. And then,
Yeah.
and it's funny because him talking about these stories. It reminded me one time when I was in the clubs up in Brisbane, and one of my ex-partners, there's some dude, and he was drunk, and he was swinging at me because I did martial arts. I'm very quick, so I can see it. I ducked, and I basically like kind of knocked him over. But then I turned around,
Yeah.
and the dude I was with was just freaking almost out the door. I was like, "Are you for serious?"
So that was your man at the time.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my god, you freaking coward!" Like, I know I'm brave, but I'm
Yeah.
expecting you to be brave too. You just literally ran for the door like as if like a girl, and I'm like, "Holy shit!" Like,
Cowards.
I was
Cowards.
like, "Man!"
Cowards.
Like, I was just like blown away. I was like, "Oh my god!"
But you know, he says these things to
Yeah.
purposely trigger those
Yeah.
type of people.
Oh, yeah,
but
for
to
sure.
empower them to
Oh,
be like,
yeah.
be real, is like, all right, well, you know, you guys are a bunch of fucking pussies.
Yeah.
Go fucking train, go do something.
Yeah.
But you know, like like when people talk negative about him and they say that he's detrimental to men, they don't show that these things that he says.
Probably not.
Yeah, they
because
never
it's
show
quite
any of the
long.
things.
No,
Yeah.
they only get bits and bobs. But I think maybe the fact that because his stuff is long, there will be people out there who would cut it up and, you know, who don't like what he is, and it's easy for them to cut up and misrepresent him.
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly,
mean?
exactly.
'Cause he
But,
does
yeah.
talk a lot about stuff, and it's easy to chop them. You know, he's not a politician when he talks. He kind of just goes straight to the point. You know,
His overall, this is the stuff that he talks about is a net positive for men. This is what I try to get people to understand, that, like, you know, what he says, this is the meat that you should be extracting and leaving the bones and the garbage that you don't like.
But it's hard though, because not all men are like you.
know,
You know what I
unfortunately.
mean? Some people might take shit like this,
Yeah.
but they don't actually do the work.
Yeah.
And they go, no, I need this and that. It's like, no, but you're not even doing the work.
Yeah.
You're just, you know?
They're just,
know?
it's like mental masturbation, reading a book and then not going to apply it.
Exactly. So it's a hard one, you know?
That's your day off.
Yeah, it is my day off. Because when I'm lifting weights in the gym, that's a day off because I spent my entire career getting punched in the face. I had 87 professional fights. And for the majority of those fights, I didn't even make any money. It's a couple grand, baby. I was flying around the world to fight some crazy Kazakh in Armenia for like 6-7 G's, coming out with my hand broken, my face busted up. Like, I've been to hell and back. And okay, yeah, it was self-inflicted, but genuinely, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I thank the Lord I spent my 20s engaged in constant combat. I don't know how there's a full-grown man out here. If you're watching this, how are you a full-grown man past the age of 30 and you never once had the balls, once ever, to get in the cage in a fair fight against a worthy adversary, and you walk the earth without shame? I'd be ashamed as a man if I spent my entire 20s, the height of my masculine powers, the height of my ability, and never once did I have the balls to go and meet somebody in fair combat. Ever once. Oh, well, I was busy. Busy doing what? You spent so much time on Pornhub, you're a liar. Never busy. Cowards. All cowards. And the crypto communities, man, I'm telling you, I go to some of these crypto things, I look around and just say, oh.
See how he just is men, but like, he's got like the biggest cult following of men. And I think men genuinely need to be told the truth like this.
Well, I think it's interesting because nowadays we do see there's more like feminine types of men, but feminine's not bad. But then if you think about it,
It's not that good either.
it's not that
Yeah,
good
yeah.
either. And I find personally, like, men and women, we both have masculinity and femininity
Yes.
in us, and it needs to be activated. So if, like, for men, if they're always going to be soft, I says again, they'll
Yeah.
run away. Like
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
fight,
exactly,
they run away.
exactly,
That's like
yeah.
not good, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
man.
that's not a good look, dude.
When
like,
the time came, he needed to be a man.
man, I was like shocked. I was like, what the hell happened? Like I was, for me at that moment, I mean, I'm not being like sexist, but I'm like,
Did you leave him
dude.
after?
Huh?
Did you leave him after?
Dude, of course, man. Because I'm like, safety wise,
Yeah, yeah.
I stood up for that. And then I'm expecting at least you could be next to me, but not turn, you're running out the door. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, whoa, come on, man, you know? But yeah, I totally get like there is a need for
Someone like him.
yeah, someone like him. Yeah, he is a little bit more, out there, but then sometimes for men, they might need that messaging to be that loud because they're much more thicker.
Yes.
So you kind of get,
yeah.
by the way, if there's a fight, you need to defend.
Yeah, you need to
it
defend
doesn't-
your woman.
it's
You need to
just-
defend your woman.
And then I notice that message won't get in, So you need someone to, and I think the fact that he's walked the walk, it makes it even more amplified.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I
then
mean?
guys will be looking at him like, "Fuck, man, you know what? I can't like disagree with him because he's
No,
speaking like he
he's-
lives the life, and I think I want the life that he lives. So I
Yeah.
need to start doing the things that he's done."
Yeah, or at least the basic fundamental. Like, it's not like as if he never struggled. I mean, he worked smaller jobs to get to where he's going. Like, I think this generation, there's this whole thing of like, I don't want to get physical. Like,
Yeah,
people
I want to go
love-
e-com. I want to sell something,
I
drop
like
ship.
the things to be easy and to be kind of given to me. And I
Shortcuts.
think that's such a fallacy because it doesn't build character. Whereas him is like, go out there, you got to hustle, you got to put your sweat, run it, do whatever it is to take.
You
And
got to
that-
do the hard yards.
Exactly, because then at least even if you were to have a downfall, you know how to pick yourself up.
Yeah. You've developed the qualities to push back.
Yeah. So he's got some good points there for sure.
It's so permissible. I could Aikido everybody in this fucking room. No one could even stop me. It'd be a bloodbath. It's a joke. It's a joke.
What's the problem with Pornhub?
Well, I don't want to get into a side career I used to run. I don't go down that path. But the problem with Pornhub,
To ensure
What?
a seamless
He has a
experience to
Pornhub
your
No.
customers,
Career?
our
No.
workflows
So
include integration
his first
of each
million
pipeline stage.
he made was
As a new lead is captured.
from.
I'm not one of them anti.
He doesn't tell it in this podcast.
Yeah.
But his first million he made was so I'll tell you a quick rundown of the story. So it was either he'd be super rich or he'd be super broke living in Thailand for the rest of his life because he didn't want to be a slave to the system.
Okay.
So when you live in Thailand, you're just fucking making fuck all money and just fighting all day and just
Yeah.
living a life where you're not a slave to the system, because he thinks working a 9-to-5 job is just like being a slave, and he didn't want to do that. So he'd either go to Thailand or be super rich.
Yeah.
So he was buying a house in Thailand, I think for like, let's say it was 100K. Okay? I can't remember the exact number. He already put down 70K,
Yeah.
and then he owed the other 30K to some people,
Yeah.
but he didn't have that 30K. So what he did was he borrowed his brother. His brother had like 10K or something. Took it to the casino, gambled it all away, lost all the money, and then he sat down himself in the room. And he's like, "Fuck, I need to find a way to make money." And he's like, so he started learning about money, fractional reserve, the Federal Reserve, whatever, all of that, and he understood that money was a lie and all of that.
Yeah.
So he researched how to make money. So he wrote down all his assets,
Yeah.
what he has. Okay, he's got nothing. Small apartment, BMW.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
His body, his capable fighting body, but he's already using that for fighting.
Yeah.
The next thing he had was all these girlfriends around the world. And he thought, and then by chance, an ad came up about like webcamming. I talked to these girls on webcamming. And he's like, hang on a second, my girls can do that. My girlfriends can do that. And because it was fighting all over the world, he'd be when you win the fight, you'd be fucking the ring girl.
Yeah.
So he had girlfriends in like different countries. So he messaged all his girlfriends to come in and goes, listen, you guys are all my girlfriends. We're going to get rich. You can either stay or you can either go. Okay, but this is the beginning of a webcam empire. So you're going to go on webcam, talk to these guys, make money. And then some of them stayed, some of them left. And that's what he's in for, sex trafficking now, because they're claiming that he forced the girls to be a part of that webcamming empire, but he didn't force the girls. Well, I am vouching for him that he didn't force the girls because it's webcam, and it's like he let them go and come as they please because he's got evidence of that.
This is where
Okay, this is where it gets very great. But that's where he made his first million.
Yeah. But the thing is, my thing with that is that he had to hit rock bottom to then do something like that. You know what I mean? Like it kind of,
Yes.
like the fact that 10K he went and gambled it. Wouldn't he be smart enough to not do that and something else? You know, like he obviously
He counted the card. Like
Yeah.
he went in with a foolproof plan to count the cards on blackjack, and he lost it
He
all.
lost it all.
Yeah. Okay. And then so then his alternative was, let's make some money with webcamming. But webcamming isn't even that bad. No, look,
it's not. But the thing is, it is a slippery slope.
It is. But you think about it in this today's age, how many girls are on OnlyFans?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
and I'm not for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally against
yeah,
that.
I know.
Shit. For me,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
for them, okay, for them. But then
I'm against it too.
Like for me, like, hey, those women and whoever he's a part of that empire, if they're okay with it, that's great. The only issue I would have is that, for example, if some other people or other organization thinks that that's permission for them to go kidnap women from countries and then enslave them, that's my issue.
But here's the thing, he didn't go kidnap anyone.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the fact that he's in that industry
Yeah.
is almost kind of opening the doors for that industry to occur.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean?
yeah, exactly. And that's what they're using to arrest him now.
It's a hard one because it kind of like 1-1, you know, like it seems that way.
Yeah.
You know, if he was a priest, even priests get done for now, you know, groping boys. So it's kind of like, oh, it's a
They're not saying that he actually trafficked them. They're
Yeah.
saying he used this thing called the lover boy technique,
yeah.
which is he got him to fall in love with them, and then he told him, you should be on the webcam, you should make money for me. But it's kind of hard because it's like, well, he didn't force them to stay.
No.
It was always their own decision to stay or leave, but he used this thing called the lover boy technique, and that's fraud. So
Well, I don't know about that. That's
Yeah,
just
but
being
they're saying
that one. Okay, that one could be, to be
government-
honest, the government.
The government is saying it's fraud.
Yeah,
That's why we're arresting you.
But at the same time, it's a hard one because I can see how they matched that and that together. And then now, if, for example, the government really does hate him, they've got so much more room to push for that. You know what I mean?
Well, they're using that as
I mean,
a reason to arrest him.
everyone's got like ghosts, okay? And I would probably say, from what I'm hearing, that would have been that down moment that he had to make a choice. Otherwise, he would have been somewhere that he does not want to be. And he's a very smart and capable guy. But unfortunately, that opened the door for something. Now on the rise up, it kind of came back again. And then, you know,
because he didn't keep that business.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he didn't keep that business.
He didn't, but then it came back. Yes,
that's where he made his first million.
I can see, you know, because of course during desperate times people have to do things, right? You know what I mean? And that time that was his moment, but he didn't continue it. But then, you know how they work.
I mean,
if he's the most, if the government or whoever hates him, they're gonna find every dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
I mean, look, he could have said that, you know, if he came from the streets, you know, he could have said he sold drugs, but even then, they would have fucked him too.
Yeah, of course.
Anything would have fucked him.
Anything. And the louder he speaks, that opens more doors. So makes
Porn
sense.
dudes, I know like conservatives are, whatever. I don't really care. But like everything in life, if it's consuming your mind and consuming your thoughts, then you have an issue. And this is the world we live in now. There's a whole bunch of these crypto dudes, especially, who can't even attract a female with all their money. Isn't that crazy? They have all the money in the world.
I think it was you that said something interesting. I can't remember who it was, but someone said it doesn't matter how much money a man has because women still fall in love with men that are broke.
Completely. No, and also, you know what the biggest thing about money with girls is? Because people have this idea that money is going to help you get girls. Let me explain how money and girls works.
Tell us.
I'll tell you.
And I'll let you know if you're right.
I'm right, baby.
Let's go.
Women love spontaneity. That's the first thing. Money facilitates. Women love fun. Money facilitates. Women love a man who's respected. Money facilitates. So money can help with certain of the things that women find attractive. It's very rare, unless she's a hooker or a gold digger, that women are very, very interested in the actual number of how much money you have or spend. But what women don't want is you lacking the ability to be spontaneous, or lacking the ability to be respected because you're broke, or to feel like she has FOMO, she's missing out on doing certain things, she can't go certain places that her friends go because you're broke. She doesn't want that, right? So it's not the money in and of itself that attracts her. It's the certain options that it gives you as a man that she can find more attractive. I think that's the biggest thing about it. But here's the thing about money most people don't understand, is that for the most beautiful women on earth, the reason they don't really respect your money is every guy they talk to has money. You're never going to go on a date with a broke dude. So every single place you go, you don't pay. So do you actually care how much money that guy really has or how much the dinner really was? Not really, it was just dinner. So the point is that money is not enough to get a beautiful woman. It's enough to qualify you to try. Because she ain't gonna go with a broke dude. And she's gonna go with one of 10 dudes she can go with, and they all have enough money. Maybe more, one is more, one is less, but they all have enough money to give her the basic things she wants, bit dinner, bit fun, holiday, blah, blah, blah. So it just qualifies you to try. So if money is all you have and you have absolutely no other qualities, you're gonna lose to the dude who has money and the other stuff. That's the game. Money's like having arms. Like a chick's not gonna get with you just for having big arms. But if she can get with a dude, she probably wants a dude to have some arms. It's one of them. It's like, I'm gonna get you just for money, but I don't get a broke guy. So like, women don't really think about money that way. They're just like, well, every guy I go on a date with is rich. And men lie, especially rich men. There's a man with $1 million, he'll say he has 10. Girl doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare you get someone like me with so much quantifiable wealth. But like, I have a fucking $6 million car, Bugatti, all this kind of thing. So with me, it's hard to lie, right? But there's a whole bunch of guys out here who can catch a 400 grand pump. They can convince a girl he's a multi-millionaire for years.
I can confirm there's a caterer in the kitchen.
Yeah, I got caterer.
That blew my mind.
Why? I gotta eat.
I walked in to go to the bathroom, and then there's this guy just cooking and all this beautiful fruit. And
Of course, I've got to eat. I see it. This is what I told you. I'm a man of God. I don't have a woman in my life. I got to eat. I hire a catering company. But no. But the point I'm making is that these dudes think if I get money, I'll get a chick. No, you won't. Because you'll get money, and then the chick you're after is still going to be dating athletes, superstars. All these dudes, they have money too, bro. You think your bored ape is going to impress her? Dork.
There's a term which is you can do anything to a woman, but you can't bore her.
That's absolutely true.
So funny.
No, but it's true. And to get a little bit dark, it's true. I knew a girl in Luton who was in an abusive relationship, right? The man was always hitting her, screaming at her. She was always crying, I want to leave him, blah, 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 blah. Problem was, when she finally left him, in fact, he got banged up for drugs, so he went to jail. She got some other guy, a nice guy, and she was a complete prick to this dude, and she was so unhappy. And the problem was, it's very, very hard to be interesting. When your ex is a psycho, the new guy's boring. It's true. I can see in her eyes. I'd say, you're going home and you're turning up 2 hours late and he ain't even screaming.
Amart's floor stock clearance event is on now. Sale ends Tuesday, so hurry. Enjoy Amart.
I really need to get YouTube Premium. If I'm gonna record more content like this, I need YouTube Premium.
No. I was like, you miss the days of the fucking flying plates and shit. Because it's women are addicted to drama. You watch TV shows. Women watch serial killers documentaries to relax. Like, this is the reality of females. You want drama. You want excitement. It's not a bad thing. You watch the Kardashians. You don't want it smooth.
I don't watch any of that stuff. I'm just going to put that out
Okay,
there.
but as a generalization, of course, Leia's different. I'm sorry. But
okay.
As a generalization, the point I'm making is that you're right. Sometimes women are attracted to very, very toxic men because toxic men are not boring. You're never bored with a nutcase. And then after a crazy guy, you try and get with a normal guy, and you end up being very, very bored. So you're right. You can do anything to a woman except bore her. A lot of these dudes are out here treating women like complete shit, but she's staying because she's not bored, and it's boring everywhere else in comparison. So it's just certainly true as a paradigm. It's true. Girls just want to have fun. Cindy Law.
There you go.
Nailed it.
You said something interesting as well. See, I clearly follow everything. I'm a fan. Like, I respect the hustle fully.
High five.
Fully respect the hustle. May not agree and then, want to live the same kind of lifestyle, but I respect it. You said something which was, when you wake up in the morning, you don't ask yourself if you're happy.
Oh, completely.
But what's funny about that was a lot of that kind of like masculine, like self-help.
Yeah.
Is for men,
Yeah.
but as a woman, I find that really helpful. Because you said women just want to be happy. They just want to wake up and feel happy.
Yeah.
But you said no, wake up and just, what did you say? Wake up and
Yeah. So
am I creating something or am I doing?
Yeah, so the basic premise is that the paradigm of happiness is completely misunderstood. I believe that, because people always say to me, oh, well, you have all this money, Tate, but are you happy? As if I'm going to be like, no. Like I guess what they're hoping I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Enjoy the bus. No, but the point is the whole paradigm of happiness is largely misunderstood. And we talk about happiness in society as if it's the most important metric, and I'd actually argue that it's not an important metric at all. And it's also really, truly amazing how what you define in your mind, the limits you set in your mind of what happy is and what happy isn't, becomes very, very true. So I watched a very interesting documentary once about colors. And it was colors.
Yeah.
And there's a tribe in Africa that use different words to describe colors. So to them, blue and yellow are the same color, same word, right? And also, these two very different shades of green. I'm talking about like grass and a leaf, like basically the same shade of green. They're completely different colors. So when they showed them blue and yellow and they said, can you tell the difference? They're like, no, it's the same color. I can't tell the difference between the blue and the yellow.
Well, they couldn't see the difference?
They couldn't see it, even because in their mind it had one word. So because they grew up their whole life and it had one word, those two colors within that spectrum, to them it's just like it's one color. They couldn't see the difference, just like we'd say different variants of pink. It's all pink. They couldn't really see the difference. Whereas the two very different shades of green, you're like, oh yeah, that's that. Oh, they're completely different. So the point is, their own mental blocks, their own mental barriers, where they had mentally decided to put the brakes, controlled their reality. And people often talk about being happy, and what they do is they talk about being happy in the same way a child in their very giddyish Christmas morning happiness. You know, like, hee, I'm happy. That's never going to be long lasting. That's going to be temporary.
That's what I did my video today.
Use that one, huh?
No, I already did today.
Oh, yeah.
The idea that you're
I
out here
posted like
searching for that
happiness
feeling permanently
is achieving goals. That's how it is. It's not just fleeting. You know how some people, when they think of, happy, and they go, I'm happy today, how come I'm not happy tomorrow? It's because you're freaking not achieving goals, you know? And yeah, this is
Good paradigm
cool.
too.
Yeah.
That is certainly happy, sure. But I've changed the paradigm of where happiness is. For me, anything above distraught is happy. Besides 3 or 4 monumentally destructive events that are going to happen throughout my life, like a loss of family member or something, unless I really, really feel down, I'm happy. So if I wake up, it's not I'm thinking if I'm happy or not. If I'm not devastated, I'm happy. It's black or white. If it's not black, it's white. So even if I wake up and I'm furious and I'm stressed and I'm pissed off and I got much to do, I'm still happy. I've decided I'm happy. My happiness barrier isn't this little giddyish at the top. My happiness is everything besides feeling distraught. That's how I've designed it in my mind. So I describe myself as a happy person, and I don't really put much merit on my feeling of the day. I've got things to do. I'm an adult. I get my shit done, regardless of whether I'm super happy or slightly less happy. I'm still happy, and I still perform, and that's it as a whole. So when I meet guys who go, I want to be more happy, I'm like, bro, that is a stupid, destructive way to try and live your life. To constantly self-analyze and compare your happiness to how happy you were at another period and how you're going to get happy again, trying to get to the top 1 percentile of happiness. It's stupid.
Yeah.
It's not real, right?
Cool.
You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think what's funny is that a lot of this kind of advice is given to men, and you'll say like a woman doesn't need it, but I find a lot of value in this kind of advice. I prefer, so they say that women give really bad advice, right?
Yeah.
They say they give terrible advice. I don't necessarily agree or disagree, but I seek out advice that men give to other men for myself.
Good, because I think that a lot of the advice that men give to other men is going to be harsher and more logical and less emotionally led. But I say this all the time to guys who message me saying they're not happy. I say 2 things. I say, firstly, you shouldn't be measuring or be concerned with how happy you are. Shouldn't be something that's in your mind or something you're even thinking about. Right? You've got other things to think about and other things to do. That's the first thing. The second thing is,
You know what? Can we pause right there? It's interesting because I have this big issue with nowadays. There's a lot of stuff that's it's a lot about stuff on mental health.
Yeah.
But I do find that there's a lot of emphasis. I remember going to a workshop and we spent an hour going, so how do you feel? How do you feel? Is it this? And they were freaking describing every nuances of the behavior. I'm an actor. I need emotions to act.
Yeah.
But then I felt that the fact that it was so like, why are we spending so much time figuring out how much grain of salt our feelings are? And how, I remember how one guy going, I feel squishy today. Squishy is my feeling. And I was sitting there going, I mean, I'm an artist, but why are we going through, what is the outcome of it? That, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of that happening in the next generation.
He says that, he goes, there's an emphasis on social media and the information given to the young people about an emphasis on how you feel and acting upon how you feel, which goes against what you should be doing as a man. You should not be acting on how you feel. You should just be getting up, you feel a certain way, but you still need to act on what needs to be done.
Yes, that's why you get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have feelings and stuff, but don't let that dictate. Because once you do that, oh my gosh, this is what people do, okay?
Yeah.
They feel, can I, shouldn't I, wouldn't I? And literally you're just sitting there watching them going around in circles and not get shit done. And that's like so detrimental.
Yeah, he says that's very detrimental on anyone. And he says the reason why there's so many school shooters is because there's people who act upon how they feel that day, and if they feel like shooting up the school, they will act upon it because they have no control of their emotions.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
And then,
really interesting.
The fact that you will sit there and self-analyze yourself to determine how happy you are at the score of 100 is already a mental failure. That's a failure. You should be busy. You shouldn't cross your mind. The fact you have time to sit there and go, how happy am I today? Oh, I'm only this much. Maybe I should be happier. That's already a mess up. The second thing is, and this is the truth, most of you, in fact, the large majority of you, don't deserve to be happy.
Why?
Because they haven't done the work it requires to be happy. You're not a man of
Going back to your
genuine
goals,
excellence in every
exactly.
human metric. You don't deserve to be happy. You're sitting at your computer with your Bored Ape and your NFTs and $4 million, but you're fat and you're boring and you stink. And you expect yourself to be happy. You don't deserve to be happy. You don't deserve it. You haven't worked for it. Beauty lies on top of the mountain, my friends. You have to climb it. You have to get all the way up there to see the peak and its amazing view. Let me tell you something. I'm happy because all I've done is suffer. That's all I've ever done is suffer. This is how I got here. Suffer. My life's been nothing but suffering and trauma. That's how I got here. That's why my worldview is so brilliant. That's how I can wake up, and as long as no one has a gun to my head, I am happy because I have suffered. You, ladies and gentlemen, haven't suffered enough. And if you haven't suffered, you're never going to be happy. Happiness lies atop a mountain. If it's just laying all over the floor and anyone can pick it up, it has no value. People's entire mental model is skewed. You're a crypto guy, right? You believe in NFTs. NFTs, the whole point of them is that there's one. It's the scarcity that provides the value. If things are not scarce, there's no value to them.
Yeah.
Right? So it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's financial. It doesn't matter if it's even a good body, right? The fact that a guy has big arms, the reason that has value is because it's rare. If every dude naturally had big arms by default, it wouldn't have a value. So you're talking about happiness as if it should just be laid all over the floor. If everyone could pick up happiness without trying, you still wouldn't be happy because it wouldn't have value, and you'd be aiming for you'd be looking for a new attention of happiness. You'd be looking for something else. You just raise the paradigm. And people who are out here trying to find happiness without trauma and suffering, those are the guys who get addicted to drugs, alcohol, all this crap. Because they're trying to find temporary happiness. You're going to find happiness through pain. That's where happiness comes from as a man. And I know you say you take some of my advice, etc., etc.
I love male advice.
Yeah, perfect. But it's the struggle that adds the value to things. The reason I'm going to love my cars so much is because I had nothing. And now I have them.
Walked 9 miles.
I walked 9 miles. Now I get to do it in a Lambo. It's beautiful. If I was born into money and was just given a Lambo for my birthday, I wouldn't even appreciate it. That's the reality. So most of you men out here don't even deserve happiness. You come to me talking about happiness you don't deserve. And you know you don't deserve it because you're a coward and you're lazy and you're weak. You don't deserve happiness. It's good you're unhappy. That's your own mind telling you need to do more. Because if you were genuinely making an impact on the world and exerting your entire masculine force out into the universe, if you were genuinely doing that, you'd find happiness. So if you're sitting there feeling depressed, it's because you know you're lazy. You know you're not working very hard. I don't want to rant on your podcast.
No, it's good. I'm enjoying it. It really is just like the whole idea that like good doesn't exist without evil, right? So good doesn't exist without bad.
Yin and yang.
100%.
Yin and yang, light and dark. We don't want to feel, what's the exact saying? We all love the sun, we don't want to see the rain, but you can't have rain.
I've not heard this
I
saying.
can't remember. We all love the sun, we don't want to feel any pain, but you can't have a rainbow without a little rain. Something like that. But no, this is as old as human time, right? And the whole people, especially men, if you have this paradigm in your mind that you should just be happy by default, without trying, without working, without any kind of struggle, without any negatives in your life, and you're just going to be a happy person, and you're always just going to be laughing and giggling in the top 1%, that's asinine. It's not real. It's a stupid mentality to have. I don't care how happy you are. You have work to do. If any man comes to me and he's looking for guidance, I say, I don't really care how happy you are because you're fat. You got work to do. Come talk to me when you have a six-pack. Otherwise, I don't care. You have too much to get done to be talking about happiness. Most of you men out here have so much to get done before you talk about happiness. It's amazing to me how little work the majority of people out here are doing. Like, you're a full-grown man living in a transitionary period of humanity where the entire financial system is broken and trillions of dollars are created from the sky, and you don't have a single million? You don't have one? They're everywhere. Like, how you be a full-grown man and not be a millionaire?
See, when he said that and he hurt me, that kind of like really woke me up like about a year ago. And to really put in work into my work, and like, as you can see, I put in so much work into my content. And I just keep putting more and more out.
Because I noticed like from when I first met you, and you were very hard in articulating, and then to seeing the videos now, I can see there's a huge change. But it's good because otherwise it would just be, you know how some people just do little changes, you don't see it? And we only got so much amount of time. So we have to kind of like leapfrog if we want to get to where we want to go. So,
the speed of my work ethic had a lot to do with a bit of this understanding that, like, oh, fuck, there's trillions of dollars out there and I still don't have $1 million.
But are you dumb?
And the work ethic.
How many, just to go on a side bit, how many millions is too many millions? Because when we met in London, something that I haven't forgotten, which I thought was hilarious, was you and your brother said to me, look, 20 million is good, right? I don't think you need more than 20 million in life. If we have 22 million, we have an emergency meeting and we sit down and say, how can we blow those 2 million?
Yeah, completely. So no, I think 20 we've raised the bar. 20,
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, 20 to 30 million is enough, right? Anything above that, I believe the money no longer has value and it's better to spend it on a human experience. That's what I believe. Because if you have 30 million or 40 million, your life's not going to change. If you have 30 million or 100 million, your life's not going to change. Your life's the same. So I'd rather just spunk all that money on human experience and amazing things and try to get the best out of the physical world we live in. That's what I personally believe in. So that's enough to survive. But it also depends. There's some people who are out here. I see a lot of crypto guys and a lot of other people that talk about generational wealth. I'm going to save my Bitcoin. That they really want their children to be rich. I don't want my kids to be rich. It's another mindset I have. I really want to die taking most of my money with me. I do not want rich children. Absolutely.
I agree with that, but what do you? I understand why it's obvious, but in terms of your money, what would you do with it? You don't just give it. I mean, you don't just give it to some institution, some bullshit charity.
No, nothing like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to financially incentivize my children. So they're going to have the ability to be. So when I used to have to run to the gym and suffer and fight, and at the end of it I still didn't have food, my boy's going to go through all that and he's going to fight, and then I'm going to give him some money. But still he has to suffer, still he has to fight, still he has to win, still he has to run to the gym and back, etc., etc. The worst thing you can do for a child is raise them rich. And so that's the worst thing you can possibly ever do. So I have no interest in that whole generational wealth crap. But yeah, I find it.
But you do want to build generational wealth. You just don't want them to have an easy life. You want them to.
Yeah.
You don't want them to suffer exactly how you did.
I want them to suffer. I want them to suffer a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, but maybe in a slightly different way.
Right.
But I'm going to make sure they go through a lot of pain because it's what makes them man. It's what makes them a character, right? It's extremely important. But I really find it remarkable when I meet men who say they work hard. And I'm not being elitist. I'm not being a horrible guy here because I'm from the streets, right? I'm from the ghetto. I'm not talking about if you're a taxi driver or whatever, and you've been a taxi driver your whole life. I'm not trying to sit here and shit on you. I'm not trying to do that. I'm saying that, especially if you're a younger man and you have access to the internet and you're paying attention to things that are going on in the world and you do your studying and you're not hard to do some work and blah, blah, blah. If you're not afraid of work, I find it amazing there's guys out here who are still broke.
Really?
How can you be poor in the modern society that we live in? Like,
I have recommended fintechs to a couple.
Yeah, when he says those things, it triggers a lot of people like, fuck man, we gotta get to work.
Yeah, but it makes
There's money everywhere.
totally makes sense though, because it's like, but then keep in mind, remember, like,
Not everyone can do it.
people make money, but there's a system that takes your money.
Yeah, tax.
Right? You know what I mean? But they're not only taxed, but then if there's entities, we spend, there's something, you know, that's why they'll still be poor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
literally everywhere. Like, so when I see a dude who's like, oh yeah, man, I'm broke, I just look at him and go,
You're not trying hard
you're
enough.
not trying hard enough.
Yeah.
You're simply not trying hard enough. If I can do it from a single mother, effectively, from a Luton council estate to ultra high net worth individual, then I refuse to accept that others can't do it. And people will say, oh yeah, but you did this or you had this, blah, blah, blah. Perhaps, you know, but I don't operate within that realm. I'm not going to be softer on anyone else than I was on myself. If I held myself to such a crazy high standard and I was so accountable and so difficult and so hard on myself, why am I going to be soft on you? I was extremely hard on myself. I'd go sparring for 4 hours and if I got hit once, I was furious.
You want to be hit more?
No, I don't want to get hit.
You don't get hit. Okay.
I want to just whoop ass. I don't want to get touched, right? I got hit once. I couldn't sleep for days. I was absolutely a perfectionist, right? And then there's dudes out here who are just sloppy.
Right.
Just sloppy with their entire life. They're just sloppy. And they're like, oh yeah, well, you know, just wear the mask.
They deserve what's coming.
Right, they deserve what's coming to them. Slavery. They're amateurs. We are really living in a paradigm shift where the professionals of life, and when I say the professional, I'll explain what that means in a minute, but the professionals of life are going to genuinely excel, where all of you amateurs are going to fail. Most people, most men especially, they live their life like complete amateurs. I don't understand how they even function. They don't know their own passport number. They haven't memorized it.
Men aside though, like people in general,
they're amateurs.
Sometimes I do wonder how people have gotten to certain ages and how they're even functioning, getting offended by very simple things. I'm just like, how have you gotten to an age, lived your whole life? How are you functioning if that's going to upset you?
Absolutely.
I don't understand how that.
See how they call him misogynist? The media attacking by calling him misogynist. But if you listen to the whole podcast so far, he's genuinely attacking men the whole time.
no, I I think like it's like for the whole thing, it sounds fine to me.
Yeah, he's literally telling men to be
fine.
better, and I don't like. He doesn't really. They call him a misogynist.
No, I think
Yeah.
they call him misogynist because excerpts could be cut
Yeah,
out. and
exactly.
repackaged
Yeah, exactly
in a
that.
certain
That's
way.
why.
That sounds out of context. It will sound misogynist for
Yeah.
sure. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Yeah.
exactly.
Even exist.
Managers, and that's how they stay inside the matrix.
Right.
You need to exert a degree of professionalism. That's what I was saying earlier about the crypto kids. If you have money, great, fantastic, you've ticked that off. But there's a whole bunch of other areas of professionalism you need to excel in. You can give me any firearm on the planet right now, I'm going to hit the target. You can give me any car in the world, basically, I'll outrun the cops. Like, I'm that guy. You need to become that guy. You know, it's practice. You need to go do it. But these dudes just don't do it. We're suffering from cowardice. We talk about all the problems in the world. It's easy to talk about them all. But you can narrow them all down to the exact same thing.
Cowardice.
Cowardice. Masculine cowardice. All of it. All of this is masculine cowardice. That's all it is. And man, I see full-grown men out here like wearing a mask. You're scared of air? You're scared of air? Bro.
The biggest dating filter there is. I was like, walk around Miami. Oh, he's got a mask.
What happened?
The medicine.
Sorry. The medicine.
The
Let's
medicine.
keep that. The medicine.
The medicine.
Yeah, but it's incredible. It really is incredible to me that's the paradigm shift we live in. And it's amazing to me that some of the things I say are seen as so controversial, because I don't think I say anything that controversial. I'm saying, look, have some balls, do what you want to do, stick to your imperatives as a man, try and get rich, and try to some degree live with a life of freedom. That's all I'm trying to say.
See, I really agree with you, and I don't think anything's that controversial, but before we started this, you said that you do piss some people off.
No, I piss
I
them off.
don't really understand why. I've got to be honest, I actually don't, because I don't think anything you've said is unfair.
But what I do is, see, I'm a soundboard. And what I do is, I annoy the majority of men, because if you're going to talk to me or listen to me or compare your life to mine, nearly any man on the planet is going to a degree, be inferior, so you need to humble yourself. This is the truth. Men need to humble themselves, because especially like, we keep talking crypto, right?
Yeah.
I'm rich. Yeah, but I'm also rich, and I'm also tall and strong and smart, and I can kick the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And I've got all these, and I've got political connections, and I'm living a life of freedom, and like, you're rich, but you're afraid to go outside because someone's gonna rob you. So it's very difficult for men to compare themselves to me and not to some degree take an L, so they have to humble themselves. So what happens when I talk to people is either they go, this is inspirational, I want to learn from this guy, he has so much to teach, he's right, I need to become a professional, I need to be well-rounded, I need to join his network, I need to know the people he knows, I need to have all these assets and these connections, etc. Or people go, he's just so arrogant, he's crazy, and I'm sitting at home with my wife, and I raise my kids, and he's crazy. But no, I'm not crazy.
That's just a defense
It's
mechanism.
defense, mate. It's cope.
That's cope.
It's hard cope. And lots of dudes have cope. It's kind of amazing. There's also something that's primal amongst men that women probably don't really know about. But as a man, when you meet another man who you know can kick the shit out of you, it bothers you. Even if they don't want to admit it. So even if I meet a dude and I'm really polite, I'm like, hey bro, nice to meet you. Part of them's kind of like,
That's actually, but that's not only just men, women as well.
Yeah, I get that with women.
Women.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for women,
no.
like
I
other
think they're all
women who
men.
meet me,
Yeah, if they
Okay,
dislike,
they
it's got
just-
to do with beauty.
they think it's like, oh, you're intense, Maria. Like you're intense. Even dudes, they go, you're intense. I'm like, calm down, you know. But I think that's the thing when people don't like to know that other people are better than them. You know, they want to bring him back down. We're the same, you know.
Yeah. Hate
But for-
always comes from the bottom.
But for him, he has a point. He's like, look, I'm here. You want to come with me? Here's the way to do it, you know. And I think people are missing that point. They're just
Yeah.
like, oh, you think you're so good. The thing is, he's done all this shit. So
Because they don't want to go through the things that he's gone through.
gone through,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's probably why people will probably be bothered by his message.
mess him up. He knows I'll mess him up. And it's something intrinsic about masculinity. It's kind of like when some girls hate girls who are prettier than them. Not all girls, but some girls like, oh, fuck that bitch, she thinks she's pretty.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing, but it's just violence related, right? So there's that aspect.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but it's primal. And you can you can also tie into the fact that they don't like people who are richer than them, right?
Yeah.
Men don't like men who are richer than them. They don't-
Survival.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
survival.
yeah. So when they meet me and I'm more important than them and richer than them, I can beat the shit out of them, and then I tick all these boxes, they just sit and go, oh, he's crazy. I don't like him, and I don't want him on my podcast, blah, blah, blah. I've had people record podcasts with me and refuse to put them out.
What did you say?
The same shit I'm saying now. The truth. The truth.
You weren't like more like inappropriate or harsher or?
Not really.
Because I don't think you said anything too bad.
Look,
I don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe they're worried.
You go down, I go down. Because I've just said I agree with everything you just said, basically.
Do it. See you in jail.
Literally. So.
Yeehaw, I'll get us out. I got phone calls.
There you
I got
go.
phone calls. Don't worry
Sort
about
me
it.
out, sort me
Yeah,
out.
I'll get it.
So, okay, what is the final goal then? Because every day you're always like, every day I'm hustling, every day I'm surviving. You don't take a day, you do take days off, but it's not like a day off, right?
Yeah.
Like we said earlier, even lifting weights is your day off,
Correct.
right? Like for me, lifting weights is lifting weights. It's not a day off. So, what's the final goal? Like, where do you see yourself in like 20 years?
That's a good question. And I believe I have a duty to protect the bloodline. I have a duty to my last name. It was instilled within me. My father, Tate. My father is one of the greatest men on the planet. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us, which now promotes me to the greatest man on the planet. So I have.
What about your brother? Are you equally greatest man, or?
Yeah, we share the title. We share the title. So I have a lot of work to do, and I think that the duty I have to my bloodline, it depends the exact path I'm going to take. I don't know if I'm going to have 20 sons with 20 women. I'm going to find one woman who might give me 2 or 3, etc. But I think that family is a beautiful thing. But the nuclear family, as it's told within this trad, calm, conservative, that's garbage. If you were to ask me now to design my ideal life, like if I could just design it, I'd have 3 or 4 sons in Moscow, 3 or 4 sons in Kazakhstan, maybe 2 or 3 sons in Mongolia, my 3 chicks, inshallah, my 3 wives. And they'd all be training hard, becoming warriors of Earth, all carry the last name Tate. And in the future, as much as people go, Tate, you can't do that. You can't have kids with all these women. You can't do that, blah, blah, blah. In the future, when the dystopian, when the machines arrive, when the Terminators turn up, and you're like, where's John Connor? Where's John Connor? Oh, he was an act of fiction, but there is a man. There is a man who does exist. There's a man who's real. He's from deep in Mongolia, and his name's Emery Andrew Tate the Fifth. And he's going to rise up. Because even I am human. I know it's hard to believe. Even I have human. I'm human, right? And there's limits to my power. Time is in the fire is in which we all burn. Even I will get old. But when I am old, I need to make sure I've done my job because it would be a detriment. It would be unfair to humanity for me to not create clones of myself to protect the future. So that's my plan. My plan is to protect the future.
Well, he's got a sense of humour.
That's my plan.
Okay.
To be fair, I do think the machines are taking over, and if we ever go down that path of the AI and all of that,
I think we are already.
At least he's risen up and he's trying to empower as many men as he could to fight the machines.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? Like, maybe he will go down in history. I mean, it's outlandish as it is, but a lot of films and books that come from this science fiction world has become a reality. So, and for me, I look at Andrew Tate. He's a very intelligent human being. Like, he's
Calculated.
He's thought through things through. He's very reflective to come out with this, like, expression, which I know he knows he pisses people off, but he knows that he needs to piss people off with the way he is, because he also then reaches out a particular audience that would then do something rather than just twiddle their thumb. So I can see the psychological implications of how he is, and also why he's doing what he's doing, or how much he's risking it.
Yep.
Because he's probably not afraid of death because he's done of everything already, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he really does believe whatever the path it is that he chooses, you know what I mean?
Exactly. He needs to, in order to grow his reach, obviously he needs to trigger a lot of people, but in terms of growing his reach, he's going to reach that audience, like you said, of certain, like that niche of men, to empower him to make him great. And he understands the cost of, he understands the cost of reaching those particular people that he needs to reach.
Yeah. So it's interesting because, like, it's obvious he's very thought out. Like, he's really, I feel like he's kind of mapped out his life. He's mapped out all his options.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to be this character to the public world, knowing he's going to get flack, because he could have played the nice guy, because he's like a very physical human being, very strong, very smart, all that.
Accomplished everything.
I think also maybe he's also figured out that if he doesn't act this, because it could be a Tate persona, he could be a really nice guy, but he chose to be this persona because it gets the message out there. Yeah,
well, you know what? I've watched a whole bunch of other podcasts, and they've said like on the side to speaking to other people, they're like, Andrew Tate, when the camera's on, the sunnies are on, and he plays this guy, he explodes a little bit more. Yeah. But off camera, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah. I've seen it, like Fat Pizza, Paul Fennick.
Yeah.
He's a character, but when he's off, he's really nice, very respectful. And I find that they know that these people know that they need to be a particular role and be seen in a certain way. And it kind of gives me a bit of inspiration, because it's like, you might know what you know, but if you don't know how to communicate it out to audiences and make an impact, there's no reason.
Yeah,
We know
exactly.
it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So it's quite I don't know. I find he doesn't like trigger me. I think I can tell that whatever he says, there is a psychological underpinning to why he says.
Yep.
I mean, it's not easy for everyone to hear,
And digest.
and because everyone will hear it through their own personal filter. For me, because I love psychology, I love the acting, and I can see why he's doing it, and there is reason. You know what I mean? And yeah, people might say he's toxic and stuff like that, but because they don't have the time to really digest all of this content, and there will be people who will be pushing for their agendas, and they have platforms that they want to push, and you know, all that as well. Yeah, no, that's fine. I don't think it's that
Plug
bad.
whatever you're doing. So the War Room, follow him on Twitter. He's also got a great YouTube where you are very unfiltered. There's a hilarious thing about why women should cook and men shouldn't cook, which, by the way, as somebody who's like running her own show, I understand.
Am I right?
Because opportunity costs.
Completely.
But like, again, gender aside, like cooking, you know, opportunity costs.
Massive
the amount of time I
opportunity.
waste cooking.
It's insane.
The amount of business calls I could have fit in that cooking period.
Completely. The YouTube is at Tate Speech. Check it out. But I say some things that sound outlandish, like if you're broke, you should never cook. And people are like, what are you talking about? But it's opportunity cost. You ain't got time to waste. I know broke dudes out here cooking breakfast, cooking lunch, cooking dinner. You're wasting how many hours? No wonder you're broke. Like, cooking should be a luxury for the ultra rich. Like, either that or hire a chef. You got stuff to do with your life. You're out here broke as a joke, sitting there with a frying pan. That's your plan to get rich? These people have no understanding of earth, no understanding of the world. So yeah, cooking's a massive opportunity cost. If you're a man out here and you cook meals and you're not a millionaire, you're fucked up. You're fucking up your life. So stop. So Tate Speech is the YouTube. At Cobra Tate is the Instagram. Twitter, who knows how long I'll be around.
Of Wudan. What is Of Wudan, by the way?
Because I am of Wudan. Wudan.
I don't know what that is.
You don't know. I come from Wudan.
Again,
Wudan is a mystical mountain.
Right.
I've existed. Can't you tell, Leia, that I'm far too intelligent for the age?
Yes.
I'm far too intelligent for the age 35. I've existed for 5,000 years. I'm a reincarnation of the
Do you
warrior.
actually believe you're reincarnated?
I don't know if I should say yes or no.
So you say the truth.
It's not so much about believing. Belief has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with belief.
Okay.
The fact is that I am the last of the warrior class. And whatever occupies me, whatever inspires me to act in the way I act, right? You say I don't have divine purpose. I say divine purpose. Whatever it is, it's ancient, right? And for 5,000 years, whatever fire is inside of my soul has wandered the forests of Wudan in battle against evil. The ninja shogunate. You understand?
Understood, yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So there was in ancient times, there was a ninja spirit which is engaging against the evil samurai, and that is the spirit which is inside of me today. So I descend from Wudan. And when I talk about the bloodline, it is my job to instill the same warrior spirit in my offspring. I will not have sons who are too busy buying NFTs and saying, oh, I made a little bit of money, and have skinny little arms and go to crypto conventions and be dorks. I will not have nerds as children. I refuse to have a nerd carry the name Tate. If my son is a nerd, one of us has to die, him or me, and I'll challenge him to Mortal Kombat.
Oh God.
Do you mean that?
That's a bit exactly.
I understand it. Andrew, thank you so much for chatting with me.
He's got a sense of humor.
It's always
Yeah,
really
he's
fascinating
funny,
to
he's
hear your
hilarious.
perspective on things.
And that's where I think, like, when he
really
says these
respect
extravagant
Thank you
things,
very much.
Yeah.
people take it out of context, his humor,
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
just don't understand humor.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, like, for me, he's intelligent. He's got very like big imaginations, and he explores every perspective there is. You know what I mean? And he's
Thanks for misogynist. Yeah, no, he's got a lot of humor. I'll give him that, and I think that's where all the context gets taken out. Where is it? No, it doesn't matter. But yeah, he's got so many good points that he speaks. And after hearing all that, Maria, what was your original opinion of him?
No, I just don't know. I just went, hey, what's this thing? Because
Yeah.
I saw it you on your feed because I watch your stuff.
Yeah.
And because when I watch your stuff, I'm expecting you. So when I hear this other person, I'm like, oh, what is he talking about? And then I have to Google it, but I don't have the time to watch all
Yeah,
this
okay.
stuff.
So
right?
so when you Google it, you just get whatever the system feeds you.
Well, that's
exactly.
That's
exactly.
the quick thing.
Yeah,
know
the
what
quick
I mean?
thing.
Yeah.
Whatever information that the system or the government give you, whoever's controlling all of that,
Mm.
they give you what they want you to believe.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
I can
Yeah,
access.
exactly. What you can access.
Yeah.
But you have to just, obviously, not everyone has the luxury or not everyone has the intention to look for the knowledge themselves and understand what really, this person is. And, when I first seen some of these things, I was very triggered because he spoke a lot of things about vegans.
Yeah.
He dislikes vegans.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it triggered me.
Yeah.
But I'm not like most people. I want to find out why he says certain things.
He's still vegan?
Nah, not anymore.
Oh, because of Tate?
No, not because of Tate.
Okay.
It was a little bit because of the Greta Thunberg Tate thing, but it was more so like I noticed myself over the last 3 years, I slightly got a little bit smaller, but it could be because I'm passing 30 and the testosterone is dropping. And I did read a study a while ago. One of my mates told me once you pass the age of 30, every 10 years, you drop a certain percentage of muscle mass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I heard, and it's like a lot harder. And then I also thought that maybe not consuming enough meat might be a reason why I'm dropping muscle mass.
Well, you exploring.
Yeah, exploring also. But like generally speaking, 90% of my lifestyle is still vegan. Like Monday to Friday, I'm pretty much still live a vegan lifestyle. It's just a lot easier for me to go out and eat with my girlfriend on the weekend.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she can eat wherever she wants now. I don't have to
yeah,
listen to
yeah.
the complaints like,
Yeah,
I want to go eat here, but you can't eat. There's no option for you. So so it just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah,
but
it's
like
fine.
90% of my lifestyle is still vegan.
Yeah.
But him saying a lot of things triggered me, and I'm like, I got to understand why he thinks the way he thinks.
Yeah.
And
The thing with Tate is like you can either be triggered or you can either stimulate your curiosity to reverse engineer why he says what he says.
Yeah.
But I think what's even more important is that, okay, there's bits that you like, but then also how do you
adapt it to
you,
your own life experience.
But then also how do you put it through your voice, which is that's the sweet spot. Yeah, that's the sweet spot. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because he's a very intelligent guy. Like, I don't think any amount of our intelligence will be able to reach his intelligence. So might as well like take a bit from him and then explore it in our own way. Yeah.
Recycle it, reuse it, your own person with your own personal experience, and but use those main points. And I think a lot of things that he says, it really speaks to me in so much volume. I'm like, fuck, and I understand it because he's backed it with his own life experience that I haven't gotten yet. And I'm like, you know what, some things that I have experienced similar to his. Because he doesn't talk about drug dealing back in the days, but there's parts of him that he kind of alludes to that.
Of course he would.
He's gone down that path.
Come on, like,
and
he
I understand,
like the richest dude in whatever. Then of
in
course
Luton, in the ghetto. So I understand, he might have walked a certain path, and I think that intrigues me too.
I mean, I think he's a fascinating character.
Like, and the fighting thing, so the kickboxing thing, which is like, I understand when he talks about going through pains of like sparring and fighting and kickboxing, and then I'm like, you know what, that's a bit of the lifestyle that I live, so it really intrigues me. And then because I've had this idea that I wanted to be a millionaire a couple of times, and that's like fuck, like so many things resonate with me. That I what's it called? That I admire about the life that he's walked, and then when people send me stuff, it triggers me because it's like affecting the beliefs because they only know what you can Google.
But then that gives you the opportunity to, through your own voice, sort of express it in your terminology. You know what I mean? And that's why when I think, Tate, there's going to be people love him, hate him. It doesn't matter. It's almost like something where you're like, who cares? It's like, wait, but I picked out these things and this is what inspired me because now this is my story based on what Tate's experience at this moment is. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be like, oh, Tate's good, Tate's bad. It doesn't matter because it's you can't debate that. But all you can do is go, actually, this bit I like because of this. That's it. People can eat, but what about this? And you'd be like, well, we don't know, but all I know is this is what inspired me from what he did and what he said. That's it. Because everyone's going to come at you.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean?
Trust me.
Imagine.
Do you know how many girls, Maria, have come at me and like, he's a fucking misogynist.
Oh, but again, like they didn't do their research, right?
Exactly.
Triggered,
and then they send me all these video. Oh, here, let me show you. Andrew Tate misogynist video. So let's find something that they've cut up. Yeah, here. I hate all women.
Let me change that. You will only even acknowledge he exists if he's ignored how he feels 99% of the time before that. Because if he was sad most of the time before that, he never would have got to a place where he could attract a woman like you. The man...
Paul, I'll call you back in like, give me like half an hour. Okay? Thanks, bro. Bye.
So this is like a cut up.
Who works in Starbucks, who's sad all the time.
This is actually a really good point.
Reply to him.
This is actually a good point. This is not what I want.
If he's ignored how he feels 99% of the time before that. Because if he was sad most of the time before that, he never would have got to a place where he could attract a woman like you. The man who works in Starbucks, who's sad all the time, you won't reply to him. Neither will any other female. So for women to come along and pretend they give a fuck about the fact that most men are basically invisible. There is not a female on the planet who's invisible today. You can be a 4, overweight, fat, you'll still go to the club and get attention. 99% of the men go to the club and nobody even can talk to them. If they try and talk to a girl, they get blanked and ignored and told them. Most men are absolutely not really invisible. This is the truth about masculinity, right? It's very easy for women to sit here and complain about the top 2% of men. Because I've dealt with this guy, he's arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Most men don't even exist. They send 10,000 DMs and never even get read, let alone replied to. So if you just sit here and say, I'll get a G, a big G, a boss, a millionaire, and let him have a day off, very nice of you. I'm sure you would. But if a guy who wanted to have days off all the time, he never would have got important enough in the first place to attract a woman like you. And that is the reality. As a man, it's player versus player. It's ultimately competitive. And as a man, you have to outcompete the other men who are prepared to get up and do it anyway. That's how it works. There's no such thing as saying, I'm sad, I need 2 weeks off. Not as a man if you want to be important.
I mean, if 12 tigers attack me and I manage to defeat 11 in unarmed combat with my Aikido and the last tiger gets my neck, that's a fine way for Tate to die.
Oh, you cheated. It's bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her up by the neck.
This is
bitch!
This is the things that get taken out of context about him.
Because I love doing it. What the fuck? I don't like, what the fuck? I love sucking dick. Why would I?
You have no future with these men, so why not at least get paid for it, right?
I am getting paid for it on fucking OnlyFans. I don't need them to pay me. I make way more than they could ever give me.
They get paid twice. I don't believe in depression. Don't message me about depression because I don't believe in it. If you're asleep in your bed in the middle of the night and you hear a noise and you believe in ghosts, now you're afraid. But if you don't believe in ghosts, it's the wind and you go back to sleep. You give the ghosts power by believing in them. Your house is only haunted if you believe in ghosts. Belief is a powerful thing. I want to stand in front of you and I want to tell you that I could punch you as hard as I can in your sternum and I could fracture it and send a splinter into your heart. Would you allow me to try? You wouldn't, because you know I believe I can. I believe I can hurt any man on the planet, and that's why people are afraid of me. And you believe depression is a crippling disease, and that's why you're afraid of it.
What would you do if I wanted to start an OnlyFans?
I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with women doing OnlyFans, as long as I had influence and control over it.
Oh, this is triggering.
You're going to be the photographer to get the angles, yeah?
No. I'm not doing any real work, but just like taking all the money. Huh? If my chick said I want to do OnlyFans, I'm like, all right, then cool, go do it. How much you made? 10 grand, all right, give me 8. All right, cool.
What woman is going to give you 8 grand?
You're my woman, you're doing OnlyFans, you're selling my product. What the fuck?
Your product?
Yes, correct. Next question.
No. See, I don't know if you're being serious.
I'm totally serious. How am I going to let my chick do OnlyFans and keep all the money? That's disrespectful.
What woman is ever going to give you that?
Then she better not do OnlyFans. Duh.
Imagine one day you're sitting in Paris and
that
having a cup of coffee.
I need to get to it again. Sorry, bro. What do you reckon about? Look, that one's. He says it on purpose.
Well, but personally, because he's in that world, I mean, I would not know that OnlyFans, like, see, the thing is, he deals with a lot of these fickle women, so therefore he's, like,
yeah,
it's a hard one because that's not, like,
it's not your world.
So because it's not my world, I'm like, well, there's going to be women who are into sugar daddies and who will, exploit men, and therefore, in a way, in for women to be that way, they do open up the door to being treated in a certain way as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So it's always a two-way street. Like, for example, if a woman is to beat up a man and a man's going to stand there and take it, and if he hits back, well, he's kind of having to defend himself, you know what I mean? As well.
Yeah.
So, but then there's always a grey line. So stuff like that, the way he says it, of course, it's going to piss off people. You know what I mean? I can totally see it. But
All right. So your final opinions of him, Maria?
I don't know. Like personally, I don't
Do you think he's a positive or a negative for the world?
like. He's raised some good points.
Yeah.
I think that the way he's kind of played it out, it's going to trigger a lot of emotions because he's going against the consensus, right? He's going against the narrative. The narrative. He makes a very strong and very concise and very opinionated point, and you can tell he's not backing down from what he's saying. So it's going to piss off a lot of people. Because we in this new society love to talk about things. Oh, tell me what you feel like. Oh, what you feel? Oh, yeah, hi.
Because we all think our life is very important.
And conversations are always long drawn out. But him is like bang, bang, bang. But the interesting thing is, if you two were to explore it further with him, he's very intelligent. So intelligent that he does not have time to explain himself. And that's why he's just going to come out with these generalized statements.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's not the fact that he's trying to piss people off, but he's trying to make a point because there's another bigger point he's trying to make. He's basically trying to say, boys, men, come on, like, you know, you need to think for yourself. That's pretty much the essence of it, but he doesn't have the luxury to flower it.
Yeah.
And his way is effective because people don't have time.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean?
exactly. And you know what, Maria?
Like, I don't find
see how you figured all that out, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're saying he doesn't have the luxury of explaining this in a longer format of time. This video here is like a 5-hour podcast where he literally explained everything to the T.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's what's that? That's five hours. I genuinely think he needs longer than 5 hours to explain his whole life and explain why everything is meant to be in a different light and like not the way that men are being feminized and all that.
But I also do, from seeing him and seeing his demeanor and all that, I do feel like he's a human being. He's still a human.
Yep.
So he's a human being that is on this planet that is also trying to find the truth. Yeah. He will try different things. He will, at moments, look at this religion, then change to that religion, but only because he's trying to find his own version of truth. And people will have a go at him because the fact that he's not sticking to one thing, people will be pissed off with it, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, each to his own. He's done he's done the hard yards. He's done the physicality to get to where he's got to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he puts his neck on the line. He does cop the flack. He doesn't hold back. And he's not being a coward, which is very uncommon in today's society. And you know what? Like, yeah, he's now what's happening to him and all that. But even though what is happening to him, like he's getting arrested, it does not take away from what he said. Yeah. You know, as much as, okay, in another world, maybe he is doing bad shit. But what he does say and what he does believe, he is coming from a place of his own truth, which is very rare because a lot of people will like to lie. They like to be perceived to be liked. Yeah. He's not doing any of that, you know. So
he's absolutely authentic in what he says.
Yeah, he believes in it, you know. And whether people might go, he might be a psychopath, whatever it is, he's still getting his point across. Now, his messaging, there are things that could be taken away from.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Not everything. But there are things that you can pick and choose because people are filming him for 5 hours. He's going to say stuff. He's going to say from his experience, his world, how he connects with certain women and those women have certain expectations. Yeah. He's going to talk from his experience. So he's not saying that all women are that way, but that's his experience of how his worldview has operated. The only danger is I think other boys and men think that, oh, I have now permission to treat women females, a certain way or to do certain things, you know what I mean? But then, so there's always that danger. But then again, if people aren't watching his stuff in full entirety, that's where the grey area is. But to be honest, it's not his fault either because he is just a guy trying to share his truth, his own life. He's not saying that what's right and wrong, but it's just from his perspective. You know, maybe he sounds a bit strong, but
Yeah.
again, that's just a delivery.
Yeah.
So what if it's threatening,
Yeah.
right? Even though they say 30% is delivery, yeah, he's got a strong delivery, and if you believe in him, that's your problem. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You know, so that's sort of the thing I have with Tate is like it doesn't really trigger me. It was just more of me going, okay, so this is what he is about, and he does give a lot of good content for people to cut and paste whatever they want, to kind of show him in a different light. But I don't think it's like a bad thing.
Yeah, it's overall it's pretty positive. Obviously, you can see where where kids can take it the wrong way, but you can also see.
I feel like
Yeah.
what I feel about Tate is that he's pushed the messaging to the extreme. Now it takes another generation of other people to now repackage what he said in a manner that could also help.
Yeah.
You know, because he's done it in his language, in his voice. But if it stops with him, then we have a trouble with the world, right? So he's put the message out there. Now other people can pick and choose, and then kind of like
Evolve.
help the world become a better place by appropriating this message to their community, to their sort of like trajectory. You know, because a lot of the stuff he says is pretty much stuff that's been said for a long time, but now he's saying it even the most fastest and quickest and the most emotionally loaded way, because people sometimes need to wake up.
Yeah, well, it's basically everything that he said is what humanity was built off.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So
the family unit, the man being the man, the woman being the woman.
Yeah, but like
self-accountability, men doing shit that they need to get done regardless of how they feel.
Yeah, and I think like as much as people go, there's the misogyny part of it. Yeah, I can see that, but at the same time, like I don't know, like for me, it doesn't. I don't like it's not a thing. Like for me, like
it's good that you're not triggered because you're an intelligent person.
Because I totally get what he's saying because it is the majority. Like I live in this world, and I work with a lot of women in lots of women empowerment workshops and stuff. And even for me, I can see what kind of mindsets they have that keep them in a certain place. And I always say to a lot of women that if you want to overcome that, you need to change your mindset. You cannot think in a certain way, but you also, if you need to pay the price. So if you're going to be an outlier, you better know how to fight. So similar to him, if you freaking want to put yourself out there, you better know how to fight.
Yeah, exactly.
If you kind of go blah blah blah, and someone goes at you and they start beating you up, and you go, "Oh, please don't hurt me." Why? It's like, well, you come on, you put yourself out there.
Yeah, if you want to compete, you have to.
It's like if you want the equality, you have to fight for it. And I always do believe that if you want anything in life, there's a fight. You can't sit there and go, "Please give it to me." Yes, and even like for women's rights, there has been a fight for so long. And even women, once we've got those rights, we can't be complacent. Yeah. And what he's also saying that, men need to also have to fight for whatever it is that they're trying to attain. And that's the same message for both genders anyway. You know what I mean? You can't expect, and in this life, everyone's kind of entitled. Everyone's entitled.
Tell me about it.
Everyone's like, I'm hurt. Listen to me. It's like, why? You know, like there's a lot of cushion. But the issue is having a lot of cushion in this reality, man. When shit hits the fan, what happens to all these cushioned people?
Exactly. It's like, well, what are you going to do about it? You're going to just roll over and die?
No, yeah. People, and like I find that people are more afraid, and afraid of the weirdest things, like they're not even real, non-tangible things. Whereas I feel there are real threats out there. And the fact that when he was saying like the apocalypse, I'm like, yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, what if there was an apocalypse,
It's coming. It's coming.
You know what I mean? Like,
coming.
we need for people to be really like thought leaders, but also take action. They need to think of every variable in life that could happen. You know
Independent thought and understanding that, there are risks.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to say this on this podcast now, to say it in every other one. I would never, ever kill myself. I truly believe they're going to come and they're going to try and kill me on a long enough time frame because they tried to shut me up and I won't shut up. They're going to try and put me in jail. They're going to kill me. I would never kill myself under any circumstances ever. And the reason I say this, and I say this to people, and they go, what can they put you in jail for? And I'm like, how ignorant are you in your ignorance to believe they need a reason? You believe it's fair. You believe I can get a lawyer and prove myself innocent. That's not how it works. They decide you're guilty long before and they find a reason why. It's the most common tactic in the world. First, they insult your character and attack you. Stage 1 to 3 stages. They attack you, your character, and cancel you. They put you in jail for something you did not do. And the last is they kill you. And I'll make it very clear here. I would never kill myself under any circumstances. Ever. Ever. And I like to think that if anybody sees a media article where I've been locked up
for whatever it is, they're going to look at it and go, this is bullshit. Tate didn't do that. The way it was orchestrated amongst the charities and NGOs and these activists, the way they all came out of this same, within 3 minutes, bro. Within 3 minutes, with 150 different activists post basically the same wording, slightly rewritten in the same picture. There's somebody above and behind all this shit. So they decided somebody, whoever they are, don't kill me. I'd never kill myself. Don't fucking try. But, bro, because that's what's next. That's what's next. It's scary. I'm telling you, everyone thinks I'm paranoid. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. But it is.
It's like the 4-minute mile, right? Nobody could do a 4-minute mile until one guy did a 4-minute mile, and then within a month, 10 guys have done a 4-minute mile. It's the same thing. I'm proving that cancellation will not make me disappear. In fact, I'm more relevant than I've ever been. I've been proved right completely. My fans are more galvanized against the Matrix and all their lies than they've ever been before. And I've proven that cancellation no longer works. So now what are you going to do? So it's interesting. I just want to make it clear to the world that I'd never kill myself and continue with my mess.
Twitter literally locked out the New York Post account for 2 weeks for breaking a completely true story. I thought that was shameful.
It's worse than shameful. It's worse than shameful. When you control information, you control the real world. They affect the real world in real time. They are genuinely affecting the reality people live in. They are not just a company. They're not just a social media platform. It affects absolutely every single person on the planet when it changes who is elected. I don't want to comment specifically on Hunter Biden or the laptop. I would never kill myself. But I don't think it's fair that they would hide certain key information that close to an election. And the fact that they've done that was done specifically to affect the world that we all live in. And we all have to suffer the consequences of those things. So to sit and say that these companies can just do whatever they want, they're private, etc. No, free speech is beyond important for democracy. It's important for the reality that we exist under.
You know what? It's even like, we can get deeper with this. Suicide. People talk about suicide. If you don't know how it feels to be suicidal, I will say this with conviction. If I was suicidal, I still wouldn't kill myself. Because my parents worked too fucking hard to put me on the planet and raise me and feed me, working jobs day and night to put food in my mouth for my stupid ass to feel sad and kill myself. That is a fuck up. That's a monumental fuck up. And I have too much respect for my fucking family to do that shit. All these men, these famous men who kill themselves, you have fucking kids. You want to kill yourself? You have children to raise. You are selfish. I don't feel sorry for you 1%. You're a pussy. And if you were half a man, you take your suicidal feelings, shut the fuck up and raise your children anyway. Because men have duty. Duty has been part of being a man since the dawn of time. We went to wars we barely understood because we had a duty as a man. So now you want to throw all your duty away? No, I don't want to play the game anymore. I'm going to kill myself. I'm sad. What about the people above you and below you? I wish to God I was suicidal. If I was suicidal, I'd have all the freedom in the world. I'd go to Mozambique tomorrow, become a mercenary. I don't give a fuck, shoot me. I could do anything. I could fucking base jump, fucking anything. I don't give a fuck anymore. What a superpower these people are throwing away. Suicidal, I don't believe in any of that shit. Because it's just a lack of duty. So yeah, you talk about respect for and living up to. I live up to the point where you could depress me to the depths of earth. You could put me in a cell by myself, solitary confinement for the rest of my life. You could kill every family member I have, put your arms and legs off. I still won't kill myself. I refuse. But I have a job to do. My job is to live as long as possible. That is my job. So is everyone else's. So yes, I absolutely am trying to live up to the memory of my father, as my son would do for me. And I take it to that extreme where no matter what happens to me, I'm going to stay a motherfucking man. Because that is my name, Tate. How can it be anything else? How can I be ordinary? Unacceptable.
It appears the insanity of the ruling elite is exposed worldwide now. They will kill you. Keep your mouths shut. Behave as sheep. I've had serious, long conversations contemplating whether they're going to try and kill me. I would like to think they're not. All I'm trying to do is teach men to be strong. If they decide to kill me on a long enough time frame, they're going to be successful. But I can't. I don't want to live in fear. Because what did I say in the earlier tenet? If I become a coward, I will live in fear. And it breeds inaction. I won't be sitting here telling the truth. I want the world to know that I'd absolutely never ever kill myself under any circumstances ever, no matter what they say. I did not kill myself, ever. But that's what they want. They want you to behave as a sheep. And the insanity of the ruling elites is exposed. My father said this in 2012, 10 years ago. Imagine now. I don't don't want to be seen as a threat to the elites to the point where they believe I have to die. I want to be seen as a positive force for the world. And I'm going to stick true to my mission. I'm going to trust in God because I don't see what else I can do.
Anyways.
So is he still locked up now?
Yeah, he's still locked up. And the funny thing is they haven't charged him. They haven't got evidence against him. It's just what the media's allegations are.
But then how can they still lock him up though?
That's the corruption, yeah. So they haven't, like, his lawyers come out and said there's no charges and there's no evidence against him. But they've gotten some fucking like loophole to hold him there for extra 30 days and then he's trying to appeal it. But the prosecutors, the lawyer says the prosecutors come forward and said that we need more time for evidence. We need more time for evidence. But technically it's innocent till proven guilty. But yeah,
oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, if they actually had any evidence, then they'd obviously publish all the evidence.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
just get it over and done.
Yeah, but no evidence is coming out, and the people that they're saying are victims, the girls have come out and say we're not the victims. They're using us, but we're not victims. Tate's a great person. Blah blah blah. So yeah,
it's a bit of a tricky one, eh?
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, there's a bigger picture, Maria. There's actually a very big.
Well, there's
picture.
always a bigger picture, and there's always bigger powers at play. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's kind of like something we're watching, like what's going to happen to him, whether he's going to stay, like because does he get to post when he's locked up or?
So no, he doesn't get to post, but he gets phone calls and he's talking to whatever his people are. Like they're doing his Twitter posts for him and stuff and all that.
Oh, so he can still post though.
Yeah, but he's just telling his people outside what to post. So he'll say it in his voice and they'll just write it down and yeah.
But he can't do videos and stuff.
Nah, no videos. Yeah, he's literally.
You know what? What would be Tate's final frontier if he gets out?
What do you
I think he
reckon?
needs to become a monk. He's done everything. This. He's stuck in this cycle of lots of toxicity. He needs to. Once he comes out, he needs to become like something that he's. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, that's basically what he says now. It's like, I'm a soldier of God, turning Islam.
Like he has to like really strip everything of all this shit.
Well, that's what he's got. He like doesn't do anything to do with like women and that.
Yeah,
no more.
yeah.
No, he's already
Because I think he should be past that phase.
No, he's already past it. He goes, he doesn't drink anymore. Ever since he turned Muslim, he goes, he doesn't drink anymore. Like the hedonism stuff about like chasing endless women. He's put all that aside, and he goes, my only thing that I do now is fight the battle of good and evil.
Okay. Yeah, because it's obvious that like the issue that I think the world has with him is that seeing his character having to go from the women's world, the hedonistic lifestyle, have that strong voice, but and it agitates people.
Yeah.
So for him, if he comes out, if he's still alive, I think he'll just have to go down the you know how when you come out of that,
it's like the character's evolution,
which is almost like nothingness, but that nothingness is showing the evolution of going through all the dramas to come to that. So then when people look at his path, they can go, okay, I can see you've got all these abilities, but then they can readapt it to where they want it, And it's interesting because in his world there's a narrative that in the very beginning that he would see the sort of the structures of men and women, but then I bet you any money, this is my hypothesis, is once he comes back out, they're actually the same. It means nothing to him after. If he comes back out and he realizes, you know what, this structure, this system, it's all matrix, right?
Yeah.
I don't even need to care about any of this stuff, all this material shit. No, because he's done full circle. There's nothing else to experience, right? You spend all that money, it's the same. You've eaten $25,000 worth. There's nothing more except for.
I think he's still gonna just keep telling men to be men, and then But
I think it's gonna evolve. That's what I think. I think he's gonna still tell men to still be men, but I reckon he's gonna probably like remove the female aspect.
Oh yeah.
Because I think in the beginning that was a huge thing.
He's already removed talking about the women part because he's very cautious about what he says now to give the Matrix ammo.
But also keep in mind a lot of the women that he hung around, they're just bitches and
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, you can't expect
I know, yeah.
I had a friend who was like dating this woman who was like gorgeous and she had the biggest rack ever, and he's always like, Maria, I don't get it, she's not very smart. I'm like, dude, You chose that.
Yeah.
Why do you expect
Yeah.
intelligence when
Yeah.
you're going to go for this man? Why do you expect a gold digger when you can't expect anything more?
You know, that's what I tell a lot of girls now, yeah? So I have this client
Yeah.
who she stayed with her man after he cheated. And I'm like to her, that's your fault. You chose that. You chose after knowing or whatever, and you see this. That's your fault. That's 100% your fault.
Yeah.
You can't blame anyone but yourself. You chose your life. But then at the same time, I say that to my male clients. I go, bro, the reason you're fat is you chose that life. Everything is your fault. You chose to eat after hours. You chose to sleep late. Yeah.
Because like even though like with your client, like yes, she stayed with him, but then what for? Because the deed's that's been done.
Yeah.
You cannot undo that deed. You either number one accept it, move on, or you break out.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna sit and complain, it ain't gonna change.
Yeah, it's absolutely her fault.
Exactly,
She
because
chose,
you chose to experience the drama over and over again. And I think that's what people, when they sit there and they complain, that's the same narrative. You know, oh, why is this happening to me? How come it's bad luck or whatever, you know, but they're not really taking ownership. And that's the saddest thing. You can't get out of it. Yeah.
Well, it is, and then it comes back to, you know, the message of everything that you do is your fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's all you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Some things are out of your control, but even in the darkest times and even in the darkest of experiences, you can still find something out of it. You can still make something of it to then move on. That's what I think as well. Because sometimes, people break into houses and they hurt people. It happens.
Yeah.
That's how the world is. There's always a good and the good and the bad. But then what comes out of it is pretty much still in your control. Yeah. But yeah, so with Tate, I think his lifestyle, because it's been so public, people it's under scrutiny a lot. But I can see as a human being, he's gonna after that come out of it realizing it's probably because he's intelligent. He's not a dumb doofus. He's a very smart guy. He's gonna come out of it after all the experiencing, realizing that maybe none of this all matters, and he'll probably he'll come up to something that will work for the world. I think.
I think so too. I mean, look, he could always escape, but he's not that type of person. He could always just take his money and just go live a very private life.
I personally think
if he really wanted to.
He could probably do something else. I think his next venture for him is to do something completely opposite to a Tate. Still have it through the Tate sort of intelligence of how to decipher things, but I think
but like you said, he's gone through everything already. This is the only big battle for him left.
That I reckon after the battle of whatever it might be the case that he might park this lifestyle and go into something even more like spiritual, but even somewhere that he's not used to. It could be something like, I think, because that's something that could be waiting for him that he could find. You know, I don't know, but it could be something there because he's a smart guy. He's literally trying to find as the ends of the earth,
the purpose,
the answers.
like the meaning of life. Literally.
He's gone from Christianity to Muslim. He'll try anything to figure it out, and he's trying to solve the world's problems.
Yeah, the world's problems, the meaning of life.
Yeah, and he knows he doesn't have it. That's why he keeps on trying. You know what I mean? But I reckon it'll be interesting to see if once he comes out of it, like he knows the impact he has for people, but then now because everyone's watching him, he's going to have to figure out what other profound journeys to take them on because people are watching. Good people, bad people, people who love him or hate him. He's got their attention. So for him, he's got a big responsibility to figure out where it's going to go next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm excited for
No,
it.
it's interesting.
Yeah,
I don't find him as as you know, like as scary as people think. The fact that
or as offensive.
I don't think he's offensive. I think that he's not offensive.
Yeah.
You know, offensive to me is when people talk shit but there's no backup. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
When people talk but there's no backup, it's like, what? You just said something and it's going to harm people and you have no background into the implications of why you said that. That's harmful.
Yeah.
But for him, because he went through shit, he knows the effect of why he's saying it. And he knows, yes, there will be people who will take it and misconstrue it, but then he's always able to back himself up. So when people ask him, like the podcasters talk to him and they really try to get him to face up if he's being sexist or not, he still is able to respond to that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's fine. I mean,
He's able to respond with his life experience.
yeah, he's not
and
saying
the
like
reason why.
all people like this, all people like that. He's more like, no, through my experience, this is what it is, and this is what I've studied, and this is the statistics. So therefore, this is what I want to say.
Do you agree with the point that he had about the plane?
What plane? Which one? The
old man. Do you agree with the point that he had about the plane, where he goes, a plane goes through a hurricane, 50% of survival, I'm going to pick the man because they're more evolutionary hardwired to be calm in a life or death situation and have their emotions controlled.
If, for example, if I do not know anyone, like I don't know, like for example, if I knew that the person who's riding a plane is an amazing female, but like she's got all the recognition for it, I choose her. But if
you're picking at random, you're picking at random.
I'll be honest with you, I choose a man too.
I
don't want them to sound sexy, but I would choose a man too, right? If I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, but exactly, that's what he's saying as a generalization. I'm going to prefer the man to be calm under pressure because we are naturally more evolved to stay calm under pressure.
But it's logical as well.
It's just logical. It's just logical.
And to be honest with you, like for me, even in my trajectory, even doing what I do, I also know that if I want to be able to play in the sandpit of men, I need to show my credibility to be higher than them to be. And it's not because...
But you're just being real. You're being realistic.
I'm being real, and I'm not going, oh, why not? Why can't it be the same? I know it won't ever be the same, so I don't even focus on being the same. I have to focus on excelling.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Rather than focusing, why is it not leveled? It will never be leveled. Even if you sit there, you talk to the ends of the earth, it will never be the same. So what do? Just focus on that.
Yeah, you just have to focus on
your own skills. And then you'll be able to be leveled.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why I find that with Tate is like, look, the world's unfair.
Yeah.
That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
The world's unfair. There's always going to be prejudice. There's always going to be this and that. How are you going to level up to it? You want that, you got to level up. That's it.
Yeah, it's being realistic.
You can't sit there and go, oh, I need it to be equal because the world is not equal. And it's true. I totally agree with him on that. I have no and I understand women when they listen to him, they go, oh, he's misogynistic or whatever, because maybe the women, when they listen to it, they don't know how to level up.
They feel like they should be entitled.
And to be honest, a woman who is leveled up, they'll be listening, it makes sense. Like for me, I don't listen it to as a gender thing.
Yeah.
I listen to it as going, okay, yes, the world's unfair. I know. That's why I don't even focus on the fact that it's unfair. I focus on finding ways for people to excel above it if they want the balance.
That makes sense. You don't try to level the playing field in terms of like changing the rules to make it fair. You just focus on, what's my best move? What's my best move? And my best move is to level up.
Yeah, and like even in my workshops with the women are like, they women get catcalled, they get this and that. But I'm like, okay, well, if that is what the world is, then if you kind of sit there and go, why is the world like this? It will never change. What do? You learn skills. You level up. You speak better. You walk better. You look tougher. You look more, you've got to be able to have the attributes to look like you can fight.
Yes.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that's how you're able to override that.
Yeah.
Because if a man looks at you and they go, oh, wow, she's capable, then they can start to change their mindset. But you cannot go, why is it not changing, and do nothing about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there's another good point where, because he relates a lot back to chess. And I remember this too, because he makes a good point. And I started applying that to my own life where I said, it's like a game of chess. You look at the board and it's like, you don't just be like, oh, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to go play checkers. I'm not going to change the game. It's not about changing the game. You look at the board and like, oh, I'm in a fucked up situation.
Yeah.
What's my best move? Not changing the game. You don't change the rules completely.
Cop-out.
Yeah, you don't change the rules completely. You just think,
gosh.
what can I do best to get out of this situation? My best moves are probably level up, like you said. Change your change the way you walk.
And and I think that's a very good mindset to have, because like even for me, my experience, like exes, I remember going like rock climbing. And for me, like rock climbing, and you're getting higher and you look down, you get scared, right? So for me, I'm like, look, right? And I remembered he was rock climbing, and then he looked down, he freaked out, and I was like, no, don't worry, just look up, just keep focusing all the way on top, right? He couldn't make it. So once he got down, I got all the way on top. He said to me, you know what? I don't like rock climbing. You know what? This is not, I don't think you should do it. So I was like, dude, just because you can't do it doesn't mean I shouldn't do it. But at the same time, I realized, wow, you're not a man.
Yeah.
You freaking want to change the game because you can't do it? Come on, man. Figure out what you're afraid of.
Yeah.
Figure out the mechanism how to overcome it, and then go back up and do it again to nail that. So you know what I mean?
That's
so
the problem with the men.
It applies both genders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for women to go, oh yeah, I want to be protected, I want to be loved. It's like, yeah, but at the same time, what's the price you have to pay?
Yeah, you got to be the right woman for that man.
But also, you have to be of a particular value to also have that as a reciprocation. You can't just be, entitled. And it was funny because I was talking to another girl the other day. She was like, I don't know why I really like this guy. And I said to him, okay, what do you like him about? Oh, because he reminds me of my ex. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Did you say? But you guys broke up. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, but do you realize, is there anything you like about this guy? And he's just like, no, because he has his attributes like this other guy. I'm like, wait. You see where you're going to go wrong there. Yeah. You see you're going to go into a relationship. It's not going to work out, not because of his freaking fault. Yeah. It's because you treated him like a piece of meat. You treated him like something as an object to fit in with your fantasy. And if it doesn't fit, it's not because of him, because of your own set expectation. Yeah. And I said to him, look, can you at least figure out, have you had a conversation with him to really understand who he is as a human being? If you want a respected relationship, you need to go deep with a human being, not from your expectation of them. And she was like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like, oh my God, humans. Totally understand how Tate feels. Yeah. And I think the more people I face with that, I can see how it aggravates him.
Yeah,
he will probably get
the way he
hundreds and thousands of people who are at him with the same freaking problem.
You know, he gets so much hate comment and even emails and threats.
Of course he would.
And threats just for the way he speaks.
Of course.
And then I think it's the same people who look for an easy alternative just to project their hate. Instead of, they could use that energy to go out, you know what, I'm going to change my life.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something. I'm going to be a better person. But no, they sit
But
there.
to be honest, with people who are like at his level or higher, they wouldn't see him as a threat. They'll be like, oh yeah, okay, he's got his point. So what?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, yeah, he's got a point. So what? Move on.
Yeah.
Move on, people. Stop watching something and trying to create drama.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then the issue is he's made a point. People are like, I'm personal about it. And then they start to create another argument. But the funny thing is, what he says, it stands true to him. But the arguments that are created then create the monster. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Because then you got the women go, blah, 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 you shouldn't be like this. And then the men go, nah. But then they're not actually working on themselves. They end up fighting each other.
Creating more friction.
You know what I mean? It should not be any friction if we listen to the message and figure out whether that applies to us or what some of the things that we could take from it. There is no friction.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I see them like, this is fine. What's the big deal? Why are people so riled up about it? Because I'm reading all the articles and wow, these words are really making him sound like a monster.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I don't have time for this. And I just go to like Andrew, just give me the lowdown. What is it? What is it about it? You're a smart guy. You can tell me what it is, and I'm sure you're able to figure it out and give me what it is. And I look at him like, oh, okay, this is just humans being like personal.
Yeah, it is. It literally is. It literally is humans being personal. And I'm sure if you when this content does go out, Maria, and you sit there and you explain it, some girls are still going to be triggered. Yeah. Some of the girls that watch you and follow you, they're gonna still be triggered.
Dude,
because
they're gonna be
because
triggered.
they believe whatever they've read on the news.
I'll be honest with you. If I would like to do a call out to anyone who is triggered, who has done as much as I've done, and still be able to be chilled, cool, relaxed, like down to earth. I put a call out to women out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yes, there'll be people coming, oh, Marie, you don't understand, there's going to be this and that, there's these women issues. There will always be women issues. Yeah. Now, if there are women issues, now let's find the champions who are the role models, not just the chatters, the talkers. You know, talk is cheap.
Yeah.
No, seriously, talk is so cheap. So looking at Tate, I can see both sides, but if we are not sheeps, I can see he has his points. And his points are coming from his background. Yes, women will have a big issue with a lot of the things that he says. But at the same time, if we have a more deeper understanding of human psychology, a lot of the stuff that he says has stemmed from his own trajectory. It's not like he's pulling it out from his ass. You know what I mean? He's lived it.
And I feel like, you know, people are so distracted. It's like, well, they're so distracted on all these different things that they're not focused on the self journey. If they were focused on the self journey, they would be like, all right, why does he think or say the things that he thinks or says? And how did he get to where he is in the world? Because he has the things to back it up.
Yeah.
100%. And it's like, how did he get there? Why does he think like that? And if I want to get to a leveled up place, let's say, like a higher level, you know, status or lifestyle or whatever, why does he? What are the life experiences that he's gotten, that he's done to get to there?
Yeah, and I think it's something where we pick and choose because he's a human being. He makes errors, and he's choose to have his life in this world, and but that's his choice. But we can't just sit there and like I think criticize him because it doesn't do us any good.
Yeah, exactly.
It really doesn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm like, oh, you know what? There's some Tate points I like, and I was looking. I'm like, you know what? I would like to be able to have that much precision in how I say things and not be afraid, and actually for women to hear it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I thought
someone else said that his content is perfect for women, but the problem is the women don't know how to digest that content.
But that's the thing. Tate has like interesting, good concepts, and for the women to digest, it will need to have a generation of women reappropriating some of these ideologies in their own voice. That's the only way. You know what I mean? Because outside he does still look like what he looks like. And for women, they won't be able to digest that.
Yeah, of course not.
And especially for women.
But it's perfect for them.
I mean, it's I think for women who are a bit more evolved, I wouldn't say evolved as in a human evolved.
A bit of life experience.
But like can see big picture. They can kind of go, you know what? There are certain aspects of what he says. Imagine it said through a woman, and imagine it cuts through the cheese. Yeah. You know, at least women might have an opportunity not to have to wallow. Yeah. You know, because I work with a lot with women in different circumstances, different diverse walks of background, and I'm very open-minded and as well as facilitative. But then I do have a tendency to see there are certain patterns women think, and that there are ways that we can also break the pattern by not victimizing ourselves and also taking control of our lives. You know, but you know, like I guess when they look at Tate and also seeing the media and how he's portrayed, of course people are going to run for the hills. Yeah. You know, people won't even give him a chance to listen to his material. But for me, I'll be honest with you, I got a lot from his material because a lot of my works as a writer, as a director, as a filmmaker, and as an actor is I need to understand human psychology. Yeah. I need to understand gender issues, imbalances, as well as the context of this world, that the world is not equal. Every movie we watch, we don't see characters go through happiness, joy, happiness from beginning to end. Yeah. They're always going through some sort of adversity. And I think it's important that we do kind of consume information like this, not so that we take it as God, but we kind of, it helps us with our critical thinking.
Yeah, it helps us, It helps independent
for me
critical
to
thinking.
Build characters, to write characters, to break stereotypes, to, you know, and he's not a beefcake. He looks like a beefcake, and that's probably why people freak out. But he does have very profound sensibilities, and you can tell he's thought things through. I know.
How funny is it that he doesn't really stutter that well? Like he's very like precise with the words, and like I've watched a lot of podcasts and I listen to when people talk. Even for yourself, Maria, you remind me of him because you don't make mistakes that much when you talk. It's very thought
why? Because he thinks. I watch him. He fucking thinks the long way. I'm watching him because I'm trying to see if he's folding, but I'm like, he's actually in his own truth. And it's actually very captivating for me to watch because I'm like, holy crap, if everyone can have a bit of him, they wouldn't be struggling so hardcore in their lives, right? They wouldn't be like, I want this, but then I want that. You know, the biggest thing with people is that they think they want something, but then they actually don't. They
haven't thought it out first.
They haven't thought it out. So they think that they want this thing, but really they want something else. And as they're chasing for this, they realize that, oh shit, this thing's coming up now. It's causing tension. The tension within is causing a generation of people to kind of go around in circles. And then when they look at Tate, they freak out.
Yeah.
Because he's so cut the cheese.
Yeah.
And they're like, I want that, but I can't build myself up to that because...
And I don't want to do what he's done.
And I'm scared that I might get like cut down because I'm afraid people are going to reject me. So therefore, when I talk, I'm always going to be waffly. You know what I mean?
It's so good to watch him talk and speak.
It is. And I don't mind, like, he says the stuff he says, but he's got a point. And and if you notice, he everything, like for me, I was imagining him like, if I had a conversation with him, I would love to have a conversation with him. Not like the other podcasters, but I actually want to help him delve deeper. But at the same time, we can co-figure out the world.
Yeah.
And I totally understand the system. There is always a system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's up to like...
Because it's not good for the system, but it's good for men and women too, actually.
Because the thing is, if we know there's a system, there's always going to be a power that controls, right?
Yes.
And... he's just trying to get people to think outside of it because I reckon...
for those that want to.
And I think because he probably gets a lot of people asking him the same question.
Yeah.
Right? And therefore he's like, you know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. I'm going to say this. Yes, it's stepping on toes and people are thinking, shit, if people are listening to him, the system's thinking ahead too.
Yeah.
Their system is kind of going, what if he creates an army of people?
Yeah, exactly.
He does what he does.
Yeah, exactly.
And then takes over the company. Yeah,
but you know what he said too in another podcast?
Yeah.
They asked him, what's the point of Hustlers University?
Yeah.
Like, and he goes, look, he only charges people $50 a month to make more money. And he goes, look, I say a lot of crazy things in this world that we live in. And a lot of people disagree with me. But the people that do agree with me, and when in the enslavement of men does come, I want the people that agree with me to have money. And obviously, that's detrimental to the people that control the world because they have opposing views.
I think also, like, if you peel it back, I reckon the things I like about Tate is probably the fighting stuff because it's a very instinctual thing.
Yeah.
Now, the money system, we don't know. Because the world could go shit and money's just gone, right? That alone, as he said before, with the crypto world, you can't survive.
Ever-changing.
If it's gone, if the world's gone apocalyptic, what skills do you have? You got two bare hands. You know how to build shit. Do you know how to grow things? Do you know how to fight? Like that
you'd be surprised where all his money comes from. So, like, in another podcast, he tells us about how much money he's made, and like, so obviously he started webcamming. And then he built his money off. He owns a lot of casinos in Romania. And then now he owns a whole bunch of different things and he's doing everything. And the story about how he made money from the casinos was very interesting to me because you can tell he thinks outside the box. Because so he was a fighter, and like when he's a fighter, you delve with like a lot of like the underworld.
Yeah.
And he met these brothers who own all these casinos in Romania, #1 casinos. And he's like, yo, guys, I got some money from webcamming. I want to open up a couple of casinos. I want to get into your business. And they're like, well, we don't need you. If we found a location tomorrow, we'll just send a couple of messages on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Why do we need you in our franchise? And he's like, well, all right, that's true. Leave it with me. Let me come back. Let me go think of a plan and I'll come back to you guys. Because I want a part of this because he knows that casinos make a lot of money.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he goes back and he thinks, all right, what am I going to do? Cool. He goes and finds this casino that's doing well. And he goes, all right. And he sees down the road that there's a coffee shop, Starbucks, line out the door, Starbucks. And he goes, all right, cool. So he put together a plan and he goes back to the brothers, the mafia brothers that own the casinos. He goes, listen, there's a casino here that's your biggest competitor in casinos. I'm going to build up a casino right next door. So I'm going to go to war against your biggest competitors for you. I'm going to fork out all the money to build that casino. Doesn't matter if the casino's under or over, making profit or not. You're going to take a certain percentage of the money that it makes. So either way, whether I'm down or under, you're going to be winning.
Yeah.
And then what he did to make the casino go over was he gave out free coffee in the casino, and he made sure that it was girls that were pretty that were serving the coffee. So now everyone that went to go buy the $5 Starbucks coffee, they were going to spend that $5 in the casino and getting free coffee out of it, being served by hot girls. And that's how he kind of built his money off that.
Yeah.
So you could tell that he was very calculated in his business.
Well, he knows. Okay, first off, he's observant.
Yeah.
And I think at that point in time, because he came from broke,
Yeah.
there's a strong innate drive to then, attain the money and then build upon that. And that's why he's able to be quite observant with his environment
And successful,
take those risks. Now, it's not like we're all going to go out there and create our own casinos and stuff, but it just shows the fact that the struggle will give you an environment where you can then
apply like the chess moves.
observe, and then figure out how to make it work for you. But that requires actually all these little choices you make, all these little, like, how almost like epiphanies. So sitting there watching, coffee. People love coffee. People love coffee. People love girls. People in the casinos love 1 and 1 equals 2. Okay, what am I going to do next? And then apply it. So it's a very similar principle to how people come from a rags to riches story. And for him, like, but to be honest with you, I feel like he's a bit more profound than that. He's now gone full circle.
Yeah.
He's now realizing none of that shit matters.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. You know how he says, look, what's after 30 mil? Nothing really. I mean, fucking, another couple of cars, nothing. It means nothing.
Yes.
Even though the government's taken all his cars and all his property and all of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, he's got other means to make money and he just needs to be like above 20 mil or whatever. It doesn't matter to him.
But I reckon like the next phase of him, he's now having to literally not allow the system to touch him.
Yeah.
Because the Matrix still got him.
Yeah.
So then if he does come out, I think the next phase is how does the system not touch him and he's still able to amplify his voice.
Babe, boxes outside. Yeah.
So that's what I think. Like, I'm not a Tate, but I can see where his trajectory is going, and I can see that would probably be something that would be, I think it would be quite refreshing because if he's going to go back and fight, I think it's going to be more people. The system's going to be ready.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he'll have to deviate, and I reckon he's a very intelligent guy, and he's done everything he's done.
Yeah.
How much more girls? He's probably sick of them there, man.
No, he is. He'll say it on other podcasts. He goes, girls, it's not. It's
like, Tate.
Yeah.
You talk to me, Tate. I'm Maria Tran. Talk to me. Well, we can figure out this world.
But yeah, Maria, it was a great content, and great watching.
I personally didn't see him that threat. I don't.
I'm glad you like him. I'm glad you like the content that he says.
I don't think he's as bad as I thought. Like, because usually when I look at people and I watch people, I can assess. Like, I'm quite good at that. I can tell. Boom, boom, boom. What they said doesn't match up. But for him, like, I don't see anything. Like, I'm not going to hold it as God, but he has his truth. Yeah. And I respect that. When someone speaks their truth, he doesn't start. He's not even trying to not stutter. He's literally so in the moment that it doesn't allow him to stutter.
I know. He's just so sure.
No, he's in the zone.
Yeah.
When you're so in the zone, you so believe what you're saying because you think about it day in and day out. It comes out just efficient and the message comes out much more stronger. And there's not a lot of people. We're missing a lot of people in this generation that could do what he does.
Exactly.
And he's not like he's gone to like freaking coaching and all these.
Yeah, he's not selling these coaching courses, all that. Yeah.
And also he hasn't trained to be a speaker. He's not like, I've gone and done like a $20,000 training. Now I'm a speaker. Look at me in my blue suit and my shiny shoes. He's not like
He's not one of those guys. He's literally just a guy of life experience.
Dude, he's just himself.
Yeah. But, I think he may have done one of those or two of those things.
You have to learn a couple of skills.
Because I remember him talking about a podcast where his dad, because he went and asked his dad, because his dad is full fluent in Russian. So his dad holds the world record for learning fluent Russian in the quickest amount of time because his dad was in the Air Force and they needed spies and all of that.
Wow.
Yeah, so his dad's a full genius. Okay, fluent Russian. Anyways, so he went and asked his dad, listen, Dad, I want to make it in the world. Do I need to learn another language? And his dad was, listen, son, you're not even 100% in the English language. You need to master the English. And I think that's where he really reassessed, self-evaluated the way he speaks the English language. And that's why I think he's so clear with what he says.
But it's not like he's learning something for the surface value. I feel like he goes deep.
Yeah.
He goes, if I want to get my message across, I need to respect the words that I'm saying and realize the power of each word. And he does it. And I feel like it's like not a system that has been put into him. He kind of like picks and chooses, but it comes out through his voice.
Yeah.
And that's dangerous
Yeah, it is.
to a lot of people because they can't pin that shit anywhere.
You know where he
I
really
think a lot
wins
of
to.
chicks will hate me now.
I know. You know where he really wins to, Maria? He's offered to debate so many people, the ones that really disagree and hate with him.
Yeah.
And then it's like they turn him down or they don't want him to go on live and debate because they know they can't win.
Yeah, because the thing is, I mean, I would love to see someone challenge him and be able to be like at his level, which means then, you know what? If there is someone like on his level, that would make such a good debate because then it will expand people's mindset. But because everyone's like reactive, it's just so weird to watch him saying these statements and you get him to say it again and again. So what? He said it. So what? Counteract it with something better. No one does.
Yeah, no one does it. No one can. But he also says, he's like, look, I'm all for freedom of speech. And like, if you disagree with me, I wouldn't say cancel you. I would love to have a conversation with you and understand, you know, your beliefs and, you know, is it good for the world or is it not, etc. And actually talk about it.
Yeah. And I think, and that's the thing, people are scared, but then they're going to go around and talk shit about him, but don't dare to confront him because to confront someone like him, you have to be sure of yourself.
Yeah.
And if you're not sure, man, you'll be
and there's so many good points where he says, you know, most people don't even know where their beliefs come from. They don't even know what gave them this belief that they believe and who gave it to them. And does this person who gave them this belief have their best intention at heart?
Yeah. So, I mean, all the points that he says, man, for me, I don't have anything to refute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everything he says, as much as I wouldn't go espousing it.
Yep.
But I do respect that if he's gone through his journey and this is his deduction, that's fine because he's lived it. He's not just talking shit out of his ass and not realizing that he hasn't lived it. He's lived it, fine. That's his worldview.
Yeah.
And for other people to want to counteract him, they better need to have the background of the lived experience, the struggle. Anyone to contend with him needs to have the background. If they haven't lived it, they can't contend with him.
Exactly.
That's why all the people on podcasts, they're all quivering, you know?
Yeah, I know. And they're just trying to disagree as much as they can.
But it doesn't mean it. Like, I'm listening to the argument, they're trying to go, oh, but does that mean you're sexist? It's the same shit. It's a label.
Yeah.
These are fucking just labels. So what? Big deal, right? Take the label away. What is he trying to say? What is he really trying to say? And then you can go, oh, it's actually trying to say, guys, wake up. Take your destiny in your own hands. That's pretty much the message.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? He just says it in a more gusto, energetic way, but that's just Tate's way because that speaks to the boys. If I go, hey, boys, now, like, take your destiny in your hands. Will you listen to me? No fucking way. You know? I'm going to slap you around a bit and then you listen, you know? And that's what he does. That's fine. You know what I mean? I don't see it as a big deal. So I was kind of hoping for something a bit more. Like, oh, this guy's not actually that. I can see his gaps, but watching him, I don't really see anything else. But I do hope that he doesn't get killed.
I know. I fucking hope so too, Maria.
And I hope he comes out and then he changes. I'm sure he will. He probably would have thought about it. If it was Tate, he would have thought, okay, you know what? This matrix thing I'm talking about, I gotta have to change angles to even get myself even removed from it. You know what I mean? Because like everything is still in that grasp. And if he really and he does believe in what he says, he will still, once he comes out, if he does, he needs to come up with a smarter, more, you know, I don't know, more above the matrix way to get his message across.
Yeah, well.
Because the platforms are cancelling, so he will have to find another way.
He said there's a 3-stage plan in what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, he said there's a 3-stage plan that whatever he's doing, and I don't even know how far what he's up to. But I'm pretty sure he's calculated that far ahead that he knows exactly what he's doing, or he's already accepted the fact that he's gonna be killed.
Yeah.
And I think he understands that he's already put all these systems in place for when he does get killed. I
don't think he's afraid of death, and that's interesting because he's explored every fear there is. He's questioned. He's spent time pondering that, you know what, death is nothing to him, which makes him a very scary man in the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because imagine him getting locked up or torture. Like, people will want to get you to amount yourself to confront people. Like, I don't know, because I do a lot of research about human psychology. Yeah. And people, whenever they see someone like in their power, there's always going to be forces that want to control and want to break that spirit. Because once you break that spirit, that means you are nothing. You can control them.
Yeah.
So someone like Tate, you know, people are still dancing around him, you know, because there is still fear. But I reckon if he was to be faced with shit, I don't think he's gonna go down. He's not gonna be afraid because he's actually.
He's like the worst person you want to go up against.
He's meditated through. Even you cut his arm, he's probably going to be one arm. He's probably going to be
still
in pain,
dangerous. Still,
but he will not reduce his psychology down to please don't hurt me. You know what I mean? Because he
can't break his spirit.
Yeah, so that's a very admirable and very warrior-like spirit that he has. You know what I mean? Which is
a feared opponent.
That is quite. Systems fear this shit all the time.
He's a feared opponent.
Yeah.
He says this is one of his quotes. My unmatched perspicacity, coupled with my indefatigability, makes me a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor.
Yeah, but then if you look in history, anyone who is like that is always feared, right? Any man or woman who has that kind of like I was researching because I always have a fascination of warriors, like warrior men, warrior women. They go through battle, and even when they get captured, they're not afraid. They die, but they still maintain that spirit. Yeah. And it's in their core. It's like there's no sense of fear because they've explored every ends of the earth, and even death is nothing to them, you know. And that's why they're able to back up
everything they do,
and everything they say. Yeah, he's a chess player. Yeah. He's almost like when the warrior spirit comes out, he fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so he's any realm of human endeavor, chess, physical confrontation.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like every realm is like, it's almost like an onion layer. If you've got your core straight, everything you do can always be mastered because you've got the core straight. But if you don't have the core, then, you know, you might... And this is the thing. I find in this world, there's lots of people trying things, but they never see things through to the end.
They never try to master at least 70%.
After that, they run off and do another shit. And it's the same thing. And they go, Maria, it's not working out for me. I'm like, it's not working out for you because you didn't put this time. Someone said you can't do it, and then you run off, you bail like a little girl. I'm not saying girls are bad, but like, you know, but I'm just saying, like, you're being a bitch. I'm not saying that as a... But you know what I mean? Like, it's just like... People don't understand that your core fundamentals, if it's not set, you're not grounded in who you are. Anything you do is always going to be a failure.
Yeah, exactly. You need to really try to strive in whatever you're trying to do and try to somewhat master it to at least 70-80%. You know, whether it's bodybuilding, training, boxing, reading, or
everything.
It
has
a course.
To be, yeah.
Yeah, you know,
but
studying.
If you're half-assed, your whole life's half-assed. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I have to admit, thanks to you, I love training. I just got out of training today.
Yes,
I was like even though I think my app, I've been freaking redoing. I've done it, but then I forget to log, and then I go back in and I do the same training again because I forgot to log. But anyway.
Try to log it, Maria, because if I see you don't log it, I'll just remove it from that day and I'll move it to the next week.
Oh, really? Because what I did was that when I didn't log, I go back in and then I redo it to the end, then I log out. But then I do the training, but I forget to log. But then,
okay.
I do it, but it's just I forget to log, and then it gets moved.
I'll move it over.
Because I start looking at my page, I was like, oh shit, all these dots are here now. Oh crap, you know?
Yeah, because if I see you don't do it, I'm like, all right, Maria, you might have had a really busy week and you couldn't go to training.
I've been training.
Okay.
Because if I don't train, I can't. What I notice about training is if I don't train, I can't have clarity.
Okay. Lucky. So now I know, because what happens is, I'm like, oh, she hasn't done it. I won't increase the weight or increase the reps, or I won't make any adjustments because she hasn't done it yet. So I'll just move it to the next week.
Because I noticed there was all those ones, but then I didn't log them out. But yeah, I have been training because I noticed if I don't train, and it's happened, like whenever I don't train for a week, oh my God, I'm so waffly. I cannot make proper decisions. I get scared about shit. Yeah. Oh, what am I scared for? And then when I train, I'm like, the groove. And then, it's like the endorphins. They just kick in, and then you've got this rhythm, and then you feel good.
Yeah.
And then when you feel good, you make decisions quickly.
You're more sure of things because
you're confident. And when I listen to people, I can hear them. I can hear their bullshit. Like, it's so weird. I'll be like, what the hell? What are you worried about? This chick's talking about this guy. I'm like, why are you talking about that for? I don't know if he likes me. I'm like, did you ask him? Oh, no. Then how would you know? And like people go, and some people get a bit frustrated. Oh, you're a bit blunt. And I'm like, I don't have time. So when I look at Tate, I'm like, yeah, I totally get you, bro. Good. You don't have time to talk about like around about.
Yeah. Beating around the bush. It's just straight to the point.
Yeah. And that's why I love seeing your videos now, because I'm like, oh shit, you know what? All those Asian dudes, when they watch your stuff, at least someone's saying it. You know what I mean? And that's why I know what you're saying is important, because I don't see a lot of Asian dudes. Like, I've seen a couple, but they're all in their suits.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk to you about public speaking. There was one guy, and I was like, come on, we don't need more like effeminate boys. You know, we need guys who are a bit more. They have that part, but they also need to be physical. I don't know.
I don't think they don't have the purpose, like the purpose driven behind it. And I feel like, you know, when they talk about speaking, like when I talk about speaking, it's like my purpose is not about being worried or concerned if I'm saying it wrong or whatever. It's more so someone needs to hear what I'm about to say.
Exactly.
That's what I'm focusing on. Someone out there needs to hear what I'm about to say.
Yeah. And that's why it comes out really good, really good. When I watch, I'm like, yeah. You know what? But I can imagine your audience already.
Yeah.
Because I remember how I told you, there's a freaking gap.
Yeah.
Asian men, they are seen as like the lowest rung of like, you know, manhood, right?
Softest.
Yeah, the softest, effeminate. They always say, you know what? In movies, I have this thing. I was talking to Ludi, right? And it's so sad. Ludi's my friend. I hope this is not going to go on, but Ludi, he's in Mortal Kombat, right?
I'll cut this part out.
He's like the six-pack guy, right?
Yeah.
So what's happened recently? He trains really hard. He's got a great body. He's been getting plastic surgery.
Oh.
And he's been freaking looking like
a girl?
Kardashian.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, dude, what's happening? He's, oh, no, I need to do this because, you know, I need to fit in and I've got parts of my body. I'm like, your abs, your body, you are like there's so many Asian men who look at you and go, I want to aspire to that.
Yeah.
And now you go off and undo the work you should see him. I'm so pissed off. I talked to him. Look, okay, Ludi Lin, okay? And I told him, you know what? You're in movies. And when you do this, you know, you are undoing so much great work. So this is Ludi. Where's Ludi, right?
Yeah.
That's Ludi. Now, this is Ludi now.
Oh, yeah. He looks...
Now, there's more worse pictures of what Ludi looks like now, which is like becoming like...
Korean looking...
Like, you know,
high cheekbones.
But why? You know, before he was like freaking...
Masculine.
This is him, man, without any surgery. He looks great already. Him.
Yeah.
You know, already great. Look. But now he's not gone off to do work because he's not fitting in with the beauty standards. I'm like, are you serious? Like, primitively, do we have Botox and shit for this shit?
Yeah.
You know, now you're trying to go off and build all that, but then now it's messing up with, like, the, you know, audience's brains.
Yeah, because you know, then they're going to make the men believe that their value comes from this.
Gosh. Yeah.
When it doesn't. Men's value comes from what they create. Yeah, it's what you create.
You know,
you have to create your value.
And that's
the abs. That's the abs that he created.
Yeah, but then the rest is like, dude, why? You didn't have to. And he's like, oh, but because, you know, people, this is like the trend. I'm like, dude, your face is God-given, okay? Yeah. Keep it that way. You're like the top echelon, and now you're undoing the work. So all these now, we're seeing that Asian men are indecisive. You know what I mean? They can't just own what they've got, you know?
So his dad literally jeopardized his relationship with his mother.
Yeah.
All because how his mum placed such an importance on the way when they were kids, how their hair was cut. Because she was like, oh, I didn't like the way they cut their hair. And then his dad went and shaved both their heads because he didn't want his sons growing up thinking that there was an importance on the way you looked as a man, but the value that you create from being a man was more important than how you looked as a man. So he shaved them both bald.
Yeah.
And then she got so upset because, you know, she wanted her sons to look good, but he didn't want them growing up believing that it was
about looks.
Yeah, and that jeopardized their relationship completely. And, you know, so he talks a lot about how his dad jeopardized his relationship with his partner and was more focused on the upbringing of his son. He placed a bigger importance on how his sons were raised over the relationship with his... But anyways, Maria, it was a great session.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming, and I hope...
It's all right. I thought he was going to be more of a scary guy. I didn't realize he's not that bad.
I hope you really enjoyed that.
Top G in a Bugatti. We are tipping at the party. Cobra, girl, I tell me say she want me.